Yes, good afternoon, Namije. We are live la.
We are alive or we are alive?
We are alive as well as live.
Las, oye, cara, dito to pero yoko shwai. Tere limpo lalu na chena no lalu constituency na pa yu the next month le NC election give any movement restriction as it huma na han bindigi constituency visits. Almost all MPs are visiting their constituencies me. So limbutan di constituency visit chi me na plan chi.
Yula mije nabale jodola.
Las. Jin chechap kara lejme yogoshla.
Yula miche.
Good. Why? BBS karma se miche to baya. BBS karma chi asime na de bumshudi. Ani mapa chara ani ta connection da strength give top madin te shuni meno technically. Time machin ani since kara formal benidigi te ani photo picture on video on bejana se shuni bela. Now, well, if you have any excuses or reasons you have you need not justify, you can keep it off. Tubla. The top of the vision me watching. Limpo lo kati jui to.
Limpo just joined us. Limpo da unmute number.
Mije, ngana doro ka sengden si misawa na yula.
Sengden last. The limpo doji kati. Last limbo doji me kodo me limbo namgi lok chuimu.
이제 nga 일선은 yula.
Last limbo kam doji khatsa lo hichi. Last. To ani jemi top madio oni me ani video on na me chube ba. Ta top madio be watching kimi la.
Last Namije, we are ready to start Namije.
Yeah, last. Ani kara the Kuzambo shunibi 2023 ki the meeting the press the gutamba email and bindigi che karalu namlo satsi ki tashidele then danja ngilo ki tashidele nabana se chiga chungi bi losa ki tashidele karalu tashidele bundle be fido maita tari pie be bodanga chenale as usual. Free flow of discussion. The question answer kachi yuruchegi baba yemale question answer kyonanu teta chera totona jomna be boda machira sundena mi shoka question sabire please do not hesitate to ask tena chegi nga atara shunila chera sumo huma jumigo se shunibi kachi tuga umchi sundabachin probably ani misegi gogono medire ani be dioma che khazo zomigo se shunibi na ka tuga umedi suna ase. Then second, nachara tarinale mapa meet the press iru te kona PMO ki media team give Facebook na live jodo se tebe sunde te eligible mela we can reach out to more people in different formats. Taringa chegi shumidi chegi hinsang sebe haku be nawale toro or tamalera chera when you come out when the news comes out from you all, it will have more clarity and a different perspective. Anibe thongla anibindi iru meru. Machigila medin tarian lapsai live yaso is in abugi to chapter mabio maja se shunibina. As I said, chele omengane through it will have more colors in it. Then becho machogi rules in nacharana mila. We can design in any way we want to conduct this meeting. Tani boda totonale kezangi da kile du te chegibe ru male public questions re yure. Pertinent discussion na matsumi diso chegi male suna se shunibi the time ta nami semi remedioban kara chala male kezang da kilebu gibe design chi bebe 10 minutes to conclusion je karulu inform benala the ngaradi problem mi the kadimchi gopchi tari lokchim chimi subela sanbi da pie bebe ngachira hisang sa zoge se shunibi Tare karagi tukai tebarayo questions nalue tebong. Tare we are going through extraordinary times, the historic times. Meeting of three major events zumchibe choi ngaragi bewachin triple effects no me ngaragi ngare tebelabi ngaragi zori labi chin ngachra pandemic le when as we come out of the pandemic global economic recession, global economic downturn jode pe jogi netang kelchinara nami simi nimchi chosu jodi yula danin ngachra tabramino cha phaka chap the sip sugari semidime lenchin ngachra nale tare global trend ratebedu as the economies open up the kara runekam dau mado tunbe chudu bi mi the yakab gi junor jutok the tundi gi be open up being ane the opportunities say masu open jomena. So these are global phenomenon ime global opportunities ime. Similarly many Bhutanese are able to take advantage of these global opportunities. So anibe lenbe the tare atiti chage last be ge khamdale mi ngachra yuntu yumi churu yumi masho chi chika job odagi chage chi ani omme lengi badi len sumbadin ngachnalu methab mi ba guma suba methabra mi we cannot wait, tomorrow will be too late be ngachigi urgency nalu reforms jodola dani sumchira tare ngachigi khamna happening at the same time benidigi that avoidable issues la shatunuzum gi feeling e ommela so ani kole tare ngachira meet bodo namisim lejimi mes no me tare chegi tuarerengi mado benya kap 20 tengache ramaship role tdigi be information chelu phi den chegi be tarina tarile gutsu be stories de t boda ani stories ki life ra mado be stories ki meaning ra mado be thunsu bachin tel namisim impact diung la tare be wachin. The stories that we all write and say today, narrate today, will have more impact because the country is going through extraordinary times. Anzum Benedigi Tare Meet Boda is not just any other Meet the Press. So with this, I'm sorry for the longish introduction, but I'm very happy to meet Tetaringa Shudozumbe. Please feel free to ask any questions. You can straight direct to the concerned lumpus. The mirue numpo mirue gahab ki kansani we are responsible, we must have the answer. Even if you don't have the answer now, we will make sure that your answers are provided within 24 hours la. So with this Kezang, please coordinate any question chugi mali gutsuna la.
Last we have taken note and we will take any in additional questions towards the end la. But for proper coordination we have some question lineups la. So we will start la. To begin with, we received 3 similar questions and when the Karachikave asked in the interest of the time. So we have Tilenamge Kunsel, Trindiki BBS, and Chenga Dawa BBS. Similar questions. So we'll take take questions from the 3 of them first.
Hello.
Sumasho.
Very good afternoon.
Sunshla Karani, please don't be too formal. Hesitation maybe. Ngarale nga hemaya shui la language te atiti mix be jome te tinadu tu magimure suna we can go with one. Tenga chigi train be wachin to tsunse ru answer male question sumidi initial sumda lene initial shui the question di jonghana boda lene jonghana shui anim chibe yuila format de. So we'll follow the same format. Ani tena jemisura to be lumbo look video edges bedela. Choregi position teleya Thomas of G video di telema momos of Chibejana association. Little imbalance between the 2 positions will be disastrous. Thus.
Very good afternoon to Your Excellency, Prime Minister, ministers, officials from PMO, and media friends. Well, I'm Tilen Namgi. I work as a reporter at Kunsel. My question is to Foreign Minister and Prime Minister. The trend of people living abroad, many say is very escalating. On this line, I just wanted to ask, does the government have any records on how many have left to which country? And the other question is, what is government doing to address this issue? Thank you.
Swing the killer, PBS.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Sringdiki, reporter at BBS La. My question is for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister during a recent interview mentioned that Bhutanese household income should increase by 4-fold if Bhutan is to retain its people within the country. So if Honorable Prime Minister could elaborate on what are the government's initiative to increase the Bhutanese household so that Bhutanese will stop leaving for Australia. Yes, thank you.
Lasla, and along similar lines, we have Chenga, PBS, but I don't see Chenga online.
Well, last tubela chianga iru churu iru tiwadi chora thiuta. Ani mapa question the foreign dangaludu. I'll take the stage first, then Limpo Tandi, and the rest actually can add. And any question be, of course, thank you very much, Tille and Sring, for asking me this question. But I'm sure the question probably is lingering on everyone's mind. Che khara ki tebenu de dibo yogosla. To the Najumigi media experts khara ki che tare more lot of Bhutanese are going out concerned do semichi tukai tebu yogo se no metidi the 2 demonstration vela. I think that's true. The touching out should zumbera triple effect one de bala ngachinalu. Triple effect or impact. A global economic downturn coming out of the pandemic, then migration picking up globally because a lot of economies are opening up, and depending on the type and nature and kind of economies that are opening up, opportunities open up. The Bhutanese are also on the same boat, looking for opportunities. It only shows now we are living in a globalized world. Anichi indication chidu. The third Dingachinalu, Dingachra Methab Miba, Bera Begomigi reforms, Nasha Jodola. We've just started. Reforms have started, but there's no end to reforms. It will keep going. The realization that more Bhutanese are going out, a lot of Bhutanese are going out, is also part of the reform. So, Anibindigiti, Tilegitimina Imagine, is the government concerned? What is the government doing? Say, Mebala. Tengagi Bewachin. Tani concerned concern every concerned citizen of the country should be concerned about this. The begomide jungi hule begob lashayu bede the nachira karagi the begobe lashayu is it should be our collective effort. The before going on to that Tsiringi question the bewachin the recently ngagilab the annual household income 4 times Joachin, we can prevent Bhutanese going to Australia. Zoom chibe indicate bede. Maybe there's some miscommunication. I don't think there is one solution that will make Bhutanese not go leave the country. The chi di minumala, these are multifactorial subjective anichidu. Secondly, ngagi 4 folds namidi arbitrary is arbitrary that the arbitrary figure 4-fold there. GDP ki nalibe base be diomi. The income level GDP per capita high income group na jogowachin the minimum 13-14,000 gobela. Minimum 13-14,000 US dollars of GDP per capita yovachin. The lower end of high income group na jusuni digi toto ngachigi GDP per capita the 3,000 plus ra benidigi high income na jogowachin ani times 4 jogobe salalabina. I'm not saying times 4 would be enough for us. Times 4 GDP would be enough to stop Bhutanese going out, say, they directly tebenga link begumi is. But indirectly, what I've been saying is the state of the nation is nothing but state of their country's economy. How comfortable we are, how much we are paid, quality of job that we get, amount of money that we earn, level of unemployment rate, inflation gi ansukara directly or indirectly that country's economy bedwala. So an bindigi economy dera improve majowachin te ngachi naluru Bhutanese gi tana labe kokop disu legime du tarani di tube majority tube se lapsup chi zomisuni me se. That is what I was saying. So I'm answering your question now that there is only one way that we can reverse this trend la. The toto bewachin trend the increase bede. Our approach, whatever we design, should first reduce the trend, then plateau chi zogobe, then slowly reverse begobela. Reverse the trend begobe. That is, more people should come in zogobela. And zoachin tengachin nalu, I was saying that we must do one of three things, or all of three things la. Chidi ru naru la ngachin nalu ra kokop gobe. Kokop so the lu ultimately there will be some people who will look for who will get satisfaction in life with very minimal earning. There will be some people whose mindset is trained differently. I'm not going that path because that would be very small subset. By and large, at the end of the day or end of the month, how satisfied you are depends on what kind of job you are doing and how much you are paid. So kind of job that you are doing must be fulfilling, satisfying gobe, participatory gobe. Toto ngachinalu, job seekers, the job employees, maashura, just for the sake of earning that salary to feed your family bedawala. So ani ngachira type of job dikhache ese. Second, the amount that you are paid dikhache. Ani budangache public servants in Bhutan are actually paid one of the least in the world metato. Of course, ngachigi salary nalu, health education the inbuilt meal. Elsewhere, you have to educate your children and also spend when you are not feeling well or when you're sick. Insurance cover health education totally free unidigi. The less salary structure that we have needs further qualification. By absolute amount watching less living standards are on the rise on almost monthly basis. The increase especially in places like Thimphu. So Anzum Biodadi, the Tareru, Mrs. Najindisu, Yentio Kobatsu, Nalu Kokab Matop Biodalu, the Jomidisu Aragi Bewachin, Gakablu Magawa Jomikai mi se, Pampincha Koja, Ra Kisu Bomsugi, Uyu Koja, Ma Jamsop Haka Jo, Kadebe Benga, Tarila Mabiwachin Nava, Sasugama Sigi, the Nosata Dugomigi Saka, Jogonomidi Kaimio, Iru, the opportunity chi te tachi, Anisuna Tani Digibe Jo ime se, Anibiniting Achinalu, opportunity to create Berabego. Besubachin se menla, berra begola, ani bedabachin, then number of people going out will slowly reduce and then we reverse. So ani bode toto majoa dumidise majora na jani ki kokab me naturally khuragira same kalera out tatube kokabe lejim du nalu chika joda na namsimi kebar minu se lapsubi ki tuse chikego se ani kedabachin chika dumidisuge then they will start coming back and they will be happy to come back. Secondly, Shikagi Yunti Yumidisu Nachina Labeo Ongobe, Labeni Kokopchingobe. So newer avenues of job portals create Begobe. Civil service na Iro Lok Juniki Kokopchingobe. Toto Sunche Bewachin, the civil servant chi Gomshu Yasobachin Lok Zumichola. Civil service Nara Gumatsubachin, Kayat Zumisho, Totana Jumidisu Mashochi, public servant ime, civil servant Memevala. Che Kaya civil service na Zumichopla. You can never enter the P543 executive level director DG Bemisubala Chiki. The Gahab Chika Yasumidisu, EOL na Bemidisu Logonta Chube, Timimidisu civil service na Jimishopla. So Anibinidiki Civil Service Act there revised by opt in, opt out. Now any Bhutanese can enter our civil service at that appropriate level, be it at chief level or director level, DG level, secretary level, agency ki head level na Jusu Upseshunibila. So that is one portal. Job attractive zogobe, job seeker lu entry level free of begobe. Second thing that we must do is investment opportunities and portals open begobela, because those who are going out will be able to earn some extra cash to save. Ani saving ding achina gyakam na investment ni kokop fugobe. Toto di the such new chimchi cham ni me jemi investment opportunities namse minula. third di ru chika chu yunte jang experience top besuda la benigi to work for our system from that country ani phugo bela so ani zum su beda bachin then in 5-10 years I would say that we will be able to take advantage of more Bhutanese going out now for educational purpose to nga chigi drup jome so ma sho peshatawa jome training lema jome the other half the spouse and family members benedige they ro peshata me so support beo jome so an bindige while I'm not encouraging people to go, while I'm not saying we are not worried, we are extremely worried. Worry semidi tsage semidi that weighing scale chugu measure be between two bachin it nobody will weigh more tsage than what we are saying now. Myonga the rimuche nam istemi tu tsage jidi se shuni beina yet shabki sumi me tsage di yu se tsage mipti kate joni gakhamnalu yunti yumi la dindibe besumigi najun disu chika jome tu tsage namesemi yu se summe sumdalu toto ana khonlu rewa kimidi kongi rewa kimidi na kama tsuba ime se ani benidigira ngache reform di kade jojobe begobi ise so ani bening ngache ki daregi reform di is the only answer to reverse the trend of people leaving the country ani ise ngache karagi shitsube shigo seila when they decide not to go that means opportunities in the country is as good ime se opportunity in the country is as good yasobachin ngachera karagi livelihood and access to satisfaction of living the nami sim legim jose that's why darigi reform ding achara karagi tunlu is ngachi shitsub bego seina the na jumidi sugidi karagi ken aniboda please do not keep asking and keep waiting for the government to do it on this issue we are one entity la ngache karagi se shunibe nabuge nekap do mado tunbe the miselu ko da to hi sang sabegobe those who are able to see that window of opportunity to say that these reforms will give us the opportunity, I must start thinking differently. I must start working on those newer portals that is opening up on the daily basis. Ani bedabachin 10-20 years later, chika jobe turu zomedida ngara na bebe invest bemidigi panalude kebar bomunime in every sense the dare ngaragi na deshna invest bedamedi namisimi dani me semedi shitsubbe ngachigi ko that bego se shunubina because that is going to be the case ani ngachigi shitsubbe bego se dani no me se shunubi so chika jomedi sugi chage namisimi yu semedi da ngachera shipshesa yu de jungi kachi bedoga se tume tilegi dani jungi bemedi tachinga shudo zumbe garani reforms every element na yula financial institutions na yu private sector na yu SOEs na yu overall governance na yu civil servants ki na yu leadership qualities mindset changing public service delivery system ansu karana change bedola so ani joda ngachira we are not able to feel it overnight because it's the whole of system changing ime las anila tani bendi ngachira nale ta other limpos yobachin suna but all the questions will have some bearing on this issue
Last Mijay, am I audible? Last
Yes.
Toto Mijay Lunchugi te sumitibu kakungbe ngari katule ta changada chebe kadimchi yoga se ikoleme tani dumdachi shuwachin ngache covid niji tobigi nimdinale tumigi nimdinale te ngache na ngache dubigi mi te gyakap thai mi ba dimi su te khara charo begobbe te sum sindu te myongadari muchige kanna telen mijilun choda ngache lenge nalwe sundena bebe te ta ngache 피 gyakapnalu jumigi todi ilo nikton kechinale jani gutsuda ise shunibi te ngache todi kadebe lindo sewachin ngachigi embassy da missiongi katulebe te kharalu 공 토케 베니기 든루 ngachi app je zodo se shunbi la to app di to yupchi zosam ni chugo hido indraberu kongi te kharalu te ngachiri gi ka yesalu te chapda bebe te toke bedra yuse shunbi te ngachi every quarterly we are releasing those data from now onwards te na ngachi the jupsu kharalu ngari shuachin every quarterly the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Trade will be releasing the data of people living abroad. But now there are two types of data. One is those who are registered with our embassies and missions. That is mainly for them to avail consular services. Konata madure thembachin nachigi khatule te charo benigi tenlo in seshunibi te taru laluchi toke mabewa te dimidu te indra beru ta khacha chunchegi tobe shuajin te ngache dup 피게 감날로 돈타 숨주 소니다 니장업 중아 게두 세슈니비 디에 때 게합 직접 주수날로 고tam도 베디두 세슈니비라 때다 토샤라 가티 두 세워진 때 오스트레일리아로 배워진 나치단냠치 토케 베미 때 돈타 주탐다 굽자 주치두 세슈니비 텔레 인디아로 배워진 돈타 구다 납자 치구두 세슈니비라 Telen Kuwait lu beabachin sumtong chikja gepchu cha jidu se shunibi. Telen thi shumara Thailand lu me chiktong sumja ngapchunga dudu. Telen America lu beabachin chiktong sumja kechi dundu se shunibi. Te thi zumbe te gyakab jenkala paya te ta kara atsire be tachingare konde shudo zumbe tonta sumchu soni da nija ngapchunga ge toke bedi du se shunibi. Tibeoda ngaragi pebe shuwachin Australia lu beabachin toke chami tonta chutamda gubja chuchi yobinale. The Roma Australia Population Housing and Census, which was conducted in October of 2021, Analu Beavachin Kongi Katule, the Bhutan de in Selami Tonta Chuni da the Ngabjadichi Semela. The Lengatarema Australia lu Joe Beveting Achigi Ma Kutsab the Kalabebe, the Kogi Beavachin, the Tonta Changa de Chi Homigi Logici, the Besunde Sishunibi. The Tangari Katule. Shuachin, Australia beavachin, lot chigi panalu, Nikton Kechinilu beavachin, Geptong, Jibja Guchuko, Macharanyam Toke Beno, the Tuchibioda, Tonta Chutam, the Gubja Chuchibioda, Nikton, Jibja Churugi Yazisodo Seshunvila. The Majita, the Tuchira, Nikton Jibja de Chi, Jojo, Sevi to Same Jibon, Nachigima, Australia Gikutsaki, Sanale Toke Lembe Beodalu. 때 이노 닉동 캐치 찌나로 배워진 입지 동타 나데치 조이기 네수두 세슈니베인라 데타 같이 가라 남서면 남도 라미디 사게 랑고미디 가라기 미 리레니니 마 조미디 같이 시니디 야 가라 조데세 데베 숨임베 인드라베로 나부기 레짐베라 켐바진 같이 나 라요 미미 알루 나준 동타 숨추 소니데치 데수기 라디 베디베 찰라 제디 세슈니베인라 다 ngari khatule beba chendi thare chachi namisame jo nalu achichi ngachi chage lamidi te changka mam thare loni de china yasibala khechichi da khechini gi banalu te ngachi ma Australia jomidu su mashuchi longa dudechi de bimbe ngari khatule beba chen longa dudechi gi japhale jomida logomi changka di balance jo se shunibi te laluchi PR lendi diu tiboda PR diswe dimi diswe ro lok na ge khabno le ho lokma jobe dimi diu se shunibi la ane beoda 나라기 단제 주의 때 자게디 랑고베 인드라 베루 나치 남서베 남도 랑고비기 사고나디 마휴세 때 담치 다좀 미제 민축에 나루 수나이 나치 나 게함날루 렉처다 주치 레샤 베미디라 쪼라 나치 나준슬로 고가 피니베 이세 디 나티니날레 닉동 캐치 질로 겔숭기 레림디 구츠베갈레 줍 가티 유루라 잠볼리나루 가티 유루라 인치 민치 겔숭기 될로 로치기 될로 록나 둘루 증거세 아니 겔숭기 레림디 구츠달루 때 로스 도숨디 때 막디기 종다림베 때도 구데치디 때콩 스킬링 프로그램이 있으시니비 아니 스킬링 날로 배워진 때 디데 초 튀디게 베라 때나 뒤니기 때 종다르 베르다 페샤타니 베르다 한디숨기 고갑 조니기 나체 차지디수 유세슈니비라 때 아니 배우다 또 마슈치라 나 미젤린체기 수나이 때다 나체 자게디 라라랑고 때 인드라 베루 나르 카틀레 베바친디 또 내순수기 남도 나수비기 사고나디 마휴세 슈니비 but if this trend continues after 2024 in the next 2-3 years then I think we then is something that we need to do furthermore but I'm very confident that under His Majesty's leadership and our Prime Minister's Kalop and in the plans that we have set out will ensure that after 3 to 4 years that this trend will decrease. Moreover, those who return and those who go will balance out after 4 to 5 years. This is my own thinking session. Thus, those of you who are interested to collect the data on this, please get in touch with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we can share with you all the 113 countries with the number of people who are there. Thus, thank you, Kadichila.
Yeah, last Mapani, Nalapa questions, Jemida Onre, Atire relevance, Atire Ondra Dungla. So we will keep sharing our concerns and approaches on this particular topic. Thus, we'll move on to the next question.
Last, Lamiji, we have Yam Kumar from Kunsel with a question for Limpolopla. Yam, you need to unmute first.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellencies and my friends from Media Fraternity. My name is Yam Kumar Paudi, and currently I'm working as a news reporter at Kinsella. My question is to Honorable Tinge Limpo. We are witnessing several entrepreneurs setting up business strategy to employ youth. However, how will the government assist and continued support in providing job opportunities, especially to the youth?
Plus, Kuzambola. I'm quite in a far off corner. That's why, as PM already informed, not very comfortable. And also after attending this question, if there are any other questions for me later, I will attend at the end because I have to travel to next destination. Thank you. Thank you so much. At least you are asking a question based on the entrepreneurs. Happy to learn that many entrepreneurs are coming up, taking entrepreneurship in the country is what I could learn from your question. Enterprising Bhutan, let's move towards to have many entrepreneurs, as many as possible, and let's have enterprising Bhutan. To support them, as you already know, all the startup centers, the incubation centers, center where Thimphu, where it is located, we have extended the startup center, incubation center in Thimphu. Similarly, we are almost finishing constructing one in Samsi. These are all to also support the entrepreneurs as incubators to start with initially. Secondly, we are also supporting them by opening CSI marketplaces. Here in Thimphu, you have seen one. Now we are going to open soon one in Paro, which will be bigger than Thimphu. We have also similarly planning to open abroad areas, including one recent open in Perth. And then also we are providing continuous capacity building, production fairs, CSI fairs, which are exclusively limited to Bhutanese CSI products, which was done one in Thimphu during the build-up program for 17th December. Similarly, we are also providing supports to the entrepreneurs, reviewing our policies and rules to make things a little easier for them to enter and exit. You also know that the other support we provided was through National CSI Bank and NCGS supports, which for now a little bit into held up state, but these are all the measures to support our entrepreneurs, the newcomers, with bright ideas, with innovative ideas, so that their ideas could be brought into businesses. We also have this industrial development grants. Besides the loan support, we also support them with machines and machineries. And also recently, there is a common facility in Thimphu, which will be very soon ready for packaging, for labeling, for storage and all those things. And also recently, we have sent people to learn labeling and packaging to India, so that more and more their products will find spaces outside. They will learn more and more, and they will keep up their businesses. These are some of the areas, and we will also come in trying to see what will be the very innovative financing tools, including philanthropists and other financing tools, which we have to need more. Probably that's one of the challenges Otherwise, we are continuing to support them through skilling and de-skilling and enhancing. And I feel with all this, I'm sure that entrepreneurs will only be inspired further, and Bhutan would become more enterprising country as we go on. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Lasla, thank you, Lalimpula. Unless we have follow-up questions, we will move on to the next. We have about two similar questions again on the foreign currency reserve. So we have Thukten from Kunsel and Sangirapten from Business Bhutan. So we'll take the two together.
Just good afternoon. My name is Thukten from Kunsel. My question is on reserve position to management. To continue with my question.
Lasla, now we are good. Lasla, yes, Thukten.
That's fine, thank you. As per the RMA figures, it shows that our reserve position is declining. As of September last year, compared to the September the previous year, there's been decline of around 40%, over 40% in our reserve position. So to this, I would like to ask the minister, how comfortable are we with our reserve position, and how worrisome is our import debt obligation for hydropower and appreciating USD against Niltram in maintaining the reserve position? So will there be, more ban of import items, and what are the government doing to maintain the reserve position as mandated by the constitution? Yes, thank you.
Sangirapten. Looks like Sangirapten is offline. I'll read out his question now. So he says, how is the position of the current reserve? Last time it was mentioned that it is sufficient just to cover 13 months of essential import. What are the other means to shore up the reserve?
Lasla. Thank you, Keza. Thank you, Thukten and Sangirapten, for the very pertinent question. And the keyword that you have used is what the status of the reserve. Are we comfortable with the current status of the reserve? And why the drawdown beyond 40%? And why, what are the plans and strategies that the government is actually putting in to shore up the reserve position? So basically, I just would like to make a mention that at this point in time, even if we have a reserve of 10 billion, which will for us, which will take a couple of years to realize that. Even if we have that reserve of 10 billion, I think if you don't know how to maintain it, if you don't know how to protect, or if you don't know how to rationalize, I think reserve is never going to be enough. Because of the fact that we import literally more than what we actually export. So basically we are running a trade deficit. External sector imbalance has been the ongoing and has been the chronic problem that you have in our economy for ages. Now, if we are to resolve that issue, I think the most critical thing that you have to look into is to basically balance the trade deficit that you have at this point in time. We call it an external sector imbalances. So at this point in time, we almost 95% of whatever we consume, whatever we use in the country is imported. So basically, we don't export anything. So if you look into the nature of our economy, for me, our nature of economy is basically an import-based trading economy. Basically, we are not a trading economy where we have a comfortable size of export as well, but we are basically an import-driven trading-based economy. So, ani bodolu reserve ki position di comfortable hune di ngachila reserve khadimchi yuti bedi besachiro te comfortable hune di lakhata onse shunela. Now the question here is, at this point in time, not only Bhutan, la, when every country is going through this kind of a crisis and issue, basically we're not going through crisis. We are actually comfortably maintaining what is mandated in the constitution. So at this point in time, as of today, our reserve position stands at, I'll not mention the figure, but we are comfortable to meet the basic essential import of 14.1 months. La. Basically more than 14 months. And few months ago, it was only for 13 months. La. And constitution mandates for us to maintain for at least for 12 months. La. The tatugi netana bawching acharagi bikuchugi chanam nangdin benegi tenu do chuji lombegi the pshikagi mangi the sojuk bedi yu se shunela. That they be used odor acharagi ta as comfortable be lo dito to be dunigi netangi membe ese. Because ngachegi ta pshikali through the ngache dollar beruta, euro beruta, jagagi through beruta, wambab zoni di sechigi mebala. Ngache sechigi menu import din ngachegi beo besara duin se shunela. Namlo nitong kechi da kechi chigi nang kyunalu, ngachegi import gi trendy tawdoji bawachin. Namlo nitong kechi chi da kechi ni na tawachin. In 6 months in 2021 versus 6 months in 2022, actually the import has double folded. La. It has gone up by double fold. La. So basically we're not containing on imports. La. We're basically importing everything. The reserve ki position di, the pshikali input di minu, inflow di minu, the nagi di ngachegi expenditure tangera de gole. But I think at this point in time, the government is opposed with the very, very critical challenge. I'll tell you that. At this point in time. Historically, even 10 years ago, our reserve positions were not comfortable, to be honest. But because of the tightening financial conditions globally, because of the global, the staggering inflation, because of USD appreciating against Neutrum and INR, critical to me. Whatever we used to spend, we are now spending more as compared to previous years. So ani bodolo tatugi neseka bedi besachiru. The ngacharagi tatu reserve kadem chiyuti beru. Ngachagi 20 months, 25 months dazumi reserve yuti bedi besachiru. At this point in time, ngachi as a government of the day, our job is to basically look into how can we maintain the reserve in the short term. How can you maintain reserve in the medium term and long term? Tani bodulu ngachem reserve the maintained benenda built up beninalu option namsem complicated kanam hila. Ranginalu mibachin humidity dansi benegi tenlu. We have to rationalize on the import. That is exactly what the government did few months ago by putting a moratorium, a short-term moratorium on import of luxury cars. Secondly, in the medium term, if we are to build up a shore up reserve or maintain our reserve, balance the reserve, I think we don't have any other alternate options than to look for a concessional borrowing. But on one side, people are blaming that, like every government comes in, the debt is a concern. There's no option. So if we are hesitant on borrowing, I think basically what you have to do is protect the amount of reserve that you have at this point through rationalization measures. So ani bodulu the tatugi nesikalu the reserve the 14 months dazumegi the reserve you, but having said that, we cannot afford to be complacent la.
Last
one follow-up question regarding reserve.
Yes.
Yes. Is there any plan that the government is, government is planning to get additional INR standby credit facility? If there is, by how much and what it would be used for?
See, the government, in order to ensure that the economy, the whole economic activities doesn't come to a standstill, and in order to ensure that the economy is up and running, we have to maintain the balance of reserve. Ta ngachigi nangdin beta michu sochin ngachi mise megala. The kago kadubera bechugobe. Ta nangdin beda salapti bewachin at this point in time that ngachagi nangkyu chikagi through sokju bejamidi. The balance begoni message nila. Tani bodolo we are basically exploring an option. Debdo ngachi beni se membership da. We're basically exploring an option to see if we can get a better deal to build up our reserve. Tatu bewachin, tape beti bewachin. The 0% interest rate being actually dollar ki launch in them. Yes, dollar has appreciated against Neutrum, But actually, when you get that, now here we call it, the $1 is, will turn out to be 85 Newton, unlike in the past years. So ani bodol ngachelu gain chungku chuni mese. But these are basically being offset by the inflationary pressure. So ani bodol ngaching nalu tatu deal chi lejumbra te tadola. But it doesn't mean that we are in a very disparate situation, a dire situation where we are looking in and around for credit facility. Tatu ngachigi thachi te bidim bego kanemi se explore the bego kechi. It is an emergency ngachagi worst case scenario preparation the bere bego. So now country soon Bhutan will be graduating from LDC as well as the LDC status graduate middle income country na Jew I think the trend of the grant inflow will substantially decline, and at the same time because of this the global economic uncertainties and benedigi niamos jindozumbe pinegi momentum maintain benegi kikochi kono miola dani benendo. I think we need to learn to stand on our own feet session.
Plus Kezan, can I take 1 minute?
Yes la.
Plus ani to limbunam gigi shumidi da sangi gi timi questions di ani just ngaregi own opinion ni. This is not the first time that this question was put, and this will not be the last. The Tanalo Ngaragi Bewachin Limbunam Gigisumi question answered the Sukara in maybe little different words. It was being shared many times. And even if this question is asked at good times, the answer will always be the same. Taredi ati downtime na imela. So maybe media ge chera ati legim be zishina analyze atire be such forums like today should be used for facts and figures, which on daily basis now we access the jamtotobe mithobe se lochra summe anibindi tarina facts and figures the any newer policies they will be more than happy to share. After that information being on your decks, then I will review research na be watching ngagi be watching anigura the toto sunde sangeda limbunam gi pana sumidigura. We get lots of information from there. The toto ngachara reserve yumi convertible currency yumi Janka increase begobachin in a masu tsubachin yan roli kidra tsugobe yan handira tsugobe borrowing or loan and grants begobe. Time machin chungchap di gibe capsules tsugobe chungchap gobachin teta mashuchira ngachara foreign direct investments bangobe machinagi products chika chundi gibe yan rupee da yan dollar zogobela. So anuzum gube the theoretical meba datidi. Now the reason for saying that is Nabuki Zishina Kigobachin Kadetabe debt to GDP ratio the 130% do almost about 60-65% hydro me, Jemi 30-31% non-hydro me. Anibadalo, how far should we go? And Nabuki analyze Begola. Pele Yupsam Chigi Jange men, Pele Yupsam Chigi Pube, Mipsam Chigi Pube Memala. Is that true or not? So answer analyze Beshina. Say Toto media question de debt nami semi increase jome. Debt to GDP ratio is almost 130% yasuno. Wow, Tebedi Kadebe home say question anibere meba. Now why can't government explore more? Debt to GDP, okay, even if it is 200%, if you can invest wisely, say the question I think pattern of question must change. With time, questions must change and answers must change also. So Hanzumbe Ngaragi Rewaila, Tetulimbugi Sumidi, import Namisimi Jode, Chera question import reduce Biogomidi, Toto, immediate effect, immediate measuring. Long run the Biowachin, there should be more convertible currency flow to our central bank and unlimited access to imports, say Jogola. So Anibodalo, Tatiru Bongo Bachin, foreign direct investment Bongo Bachin, we have almost about 112-13 FDIs in the country. None of them is making profit there. So Toto Yumigi FDI disu capsule jimbe Zoma Subdalu, FDI Jimmy Omutubeba. The FDI Jimmy Omotumigi reasons to now conducive work environment menu. The skills required to run that business, Nachi Dubigi labalu minu. Payment gateways namisimi clear menu la. Gakab jangale tiruchina lenguru tab madika kaime. Ngachinale dollar chip chika tanguru tab madika kaime. Dollar ki lachi begoru tab madika kaime. Taregi reforms the ansung achiki critically question bedo ose shunibela. Dollar zogobachin and the dollar ki chung chap chugobe. Dollar di zogo ose labme, dollar ki chung chami to tongachi. Those who are earning in dollars, it's very difficult to get dollar account me. The answer ngachi khalab do ose shunibela. So now anibe ngachi atiti horizon of our thinking ngachi so ni room le me. As much as we talk about change, every one of us here must also change. So critical business shunibi. Tare media lom the tachinga shuila. Totonga chiki chelu shumiti cham chinaba that tebesuni machin public excitement meonime. So tarenga chiki sumidi, anibe shumidi, sorry, anibe lab de session, unlamidi nabuki analyze bebe, then a different version must come out. So no message shuming or shuila. Last anichi ngarele aniboi that Tachilimbutandi Sumidiro chi ningache 2014-24 le Gelsung Gutsu Mala Sani Bodalo the Mapatotogi Act na Nabugi Mashogi Zizibo Ane Chegi little by little you must start letting people know what Gelsung stands for, what are the outcomes of that Gelsung Achigina, immediate outcome Kachionga, main Tachilimbutandi Sumidila. Naturally, Misu Kara, Najun Disu, Rangi Chodu internal realization to reflect on your skills and potentials. Ani Chodu Zodam, Lava skills tune. Skills the 7-8 months nalo, that the Nam semi skillful jonga so mijo, but then thinking process is skillful yanyoala. He or she will be able to tell himself or ask himself what he or she wants to do in life. Ani Zosu Ose. Tani roughly lochobge asobachin as the Bhutanese turns 18 they gelsung the compulsory ongola, but those who are not yet 18 16 and a half and 17-year-olds are allowed to volunteer to take gelsung. 18 years lami gale compulsory lengo tibodulu tinalo deferment ki provision yula. Medical board and gelsung council will defer. The Anna watching a Chidinalu Chashumidisu, the Gelo Tasanaba Chashumidisu Bewachin, the Gelsung Bemigo Seshunibela, Tani Matochip, Macha Dupkara Bego Seshunibi, Anichi Totonga, just for information image no share Bejavila. They will move on to the next one.
Last Lamaji. So next we have Nimo Andila Kunsala. Question for Health Limpola.
Las kuzambolo mijil lunchingi uzuwigi the lumbol hengetsu the delen the junalabe micharo kara lukuzambo seshunila. The nigi diwadi mijiso lumbolu seshunila. The MDSS hospital gi zotingi kole update chunku chishu ko besani chishu jevila troetama mije gi lasha information lasha sungu buda atiri tule ye minyoga no magiana diwadak pachi zo bebe mixel gi diwadak pachi zo jela ni dinga Pugus Junila. Tangbadi Dangachani MDSS ki plan di Gadibe Yoga se Anichi that Ani Sosobera Sokubeko Sapbera Zogobubina Yan Dari Jimmy Dojo National Referral Hospital di Gulebe Churchube Dele Digu Tinkin Laluchi de Sokudi to the Tip so bebe Anibe Shisuchinani in Asela. The Dele Jemedi da Anigulu da Zero the Tangobamula, the Mongil de Su Gatelebe. The Nanina, the Yondom watching Kadichi Chini Nana. The Deledani, Zokibets of the Lumenka Dinale, Shaptoda Ditsu, Kazumra, Topsungas, Mapa, Chirtang Animchi, the Chigi, information China, so what in them Semekadichi message in Kadichela.
Lasla, good evening, everyone. Kadiche Nima, I want to thank all the media for covering the health transformation. I think most medias that have covered health transformation, I think did a very nice job. Nima in particular, who was there for the launch as well. So namsami kadiche la. On the MDSS ki sago di JD ki sago gulra la. It's a multidisciplinary hospital. Infrastructure di bewachin te infrastructure di tato bewachin block na two de chi la different block di la campus di pa GD gura la GD gi tato gelyong menka gi sago di gelyong menka gi sago nara la ta sago di su nga chi gi nguzen be chai te nguzen mabe gi hema te sago di sunai ka ra nga che gi map be la sago dina lutab dedo ga debe yobina nga charagi chugi pipe machine ani gachilo electrical pipe ani du soe kara bebe te sago di bewachin ta to nitik be bewachin te nga chigi menka nim nyamagi first menka digi sago digi na le phabe dung se shunibe la MDSS dila ta digi plan the process the goody damba ro nyama ma jaga jungi lunche na chemda nga chi lunche da chekalu sunde na be te hani na lu te agree be be se shunibe la so it is outside the plan activity be la so hani na lu the agreement di ro khungi male te chotan shimle te kara Egypt be te nga chi budget chi propose be la te khungi hone ro ani du kara Egypt be nga chi disease pattern du ta infrastructure gi du ta be udalu te le khungi health infrastructure division gi be te 5.6 billion pe propose be se shunibe te nga chi ani te nga chi ge ro as it is pera khungi propose be mi digura agree be so as of now the budget di 5.6 billion is shunibe la ta shabtogi theka hyptalu ta to nga chi masho chi nga chara gyakap shikhalu tamigi soigi menchogi shabto dusu te kara nga chi pa menkana top chup pesoni la ta MDSS nalu mixelgi te kachi mo sawachin ata bewachin te nga chi gi menka chap dele toro dele menka di chap saudalu dele chachegi dele toro mangil chi dele mi training be ani be beumela Teta MDSS di bewachin nga chigi migi training tele chachedi tele infrastructure di kara chika ungo peila ani one whole package be ungo peila teta li tato sensogi nga chigi soil henkanagi health project duswe the mijilin shogi repeatedly guidance na digibe tani same package dira follow bedo se shunibe pebe shuachin nga chara tari infectious disease 1.7 billion gi project de anina ila menka mi training dele chache dusu karala tani cheche nga chi menka chap chala chui dogo bebala anibe du mungo pela Tele chidi ngachigi ta Bhutan lu green hospital design sela sustainable eco design ti ngachigi MDSS hospital da tele ngachigi ma infectious disease hospital nalu te implement benibe se shunibe la ta MDSS nalu ngachigi chun paint le gutuk digibe the non toxic paint a children friendly paint se te tari ngachi gelchun jitsen pema mother and child nalu te ani du soe kara ngachigi revise pe digibe soi se shunibe la so we are really gearing towards making green hospital la ani sustainable design gi concept la bringing in solar panels generating on site electricity, making it sustainable. We have started a small initiation with both Mungar and JDW right now. COVID gi time na lunga chara khara gi khenla oxygen gi kangil diga demchi thoinga te chikhale bagongoni digi nga che oxygen katemchi nga che namsami stock up bego thesila tane beni digi the lesson we have learned is that the ngachara sustainable go base so ngache tari ani gelyong na menka da pa lungjo gi menka na lu ngache gi oxygen plant gutu dola ani zumbe so ani MDSS di nalu shapto di tertiary level care di kara afina le top top pe se shunibe la so mainly ngache cardiology service transplant service cancer gi shapto tari ngache ge khapna lu niji tawachin halam chi cancer di on the top pe la tane boda ani dusu gi shapto dusu di kara tenga che MDSS na le top sup pe se shunibe nima Thank you, La.
Thank you, Lalimpala.
Kizang
Nima has some follow-up questions. If you can
Yes.
keep it short, we are on the 5th question and we have more than 20 to go. So in the interest of
Yes,
time, if
yes.
you can keep it
Yes,
short.
no,
And the
Smith,
answers
Kizang.
as well.
Las Kizang na Smith Kadichela. Miji ani chugu chila, the tungu chirani, the Doto Bewachin, the MD SSH ki dunlu chalagashira na doibina ni chugu chis suna seshuni la Kadichela.
Las la ngachi ta ni basic DPR di kara develop bebe the ngachi ro chijele khunglu chijel henka na phidi use shuni la for them to take it up bilaterally with GOI la. So GOI ki commitment on this and Minister of Foreign Affairs is at the moment taking up seshuni be ngachi ki most preliminary DPRs di kara dani seshuni la. Las la. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalimpala. Lasla Tringpalden, Kunsel.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. In the interest of time, I will keep my question short. Recently, the Indian Foreign Secretary and our Foreign Secretary had a meeting and they held talks about the 12th plan and 13th plan as well. My question is if His Excellency could share some of the highlights of the talks and how much of the 12th plan funding committed by Government of India will be coming through Shunibila. Thank you.
Last Tringpalden, I think Kezang, when she said keep it short, I think it's meant for us to keep the answer short from the sweet. There are questions the descriptive based on the Kimi session. Ani Tringi question the 12 plan gi sunbena Foreign Secretary visit boda Kadibera Joiga 12 plan gi commitment so Kadimchi Wanga seme. I think Tarero Foreign Secretary Chije Tunchi na Chun Benam simulation se nomelaru kasochin pending issues yumi marsho the authority michi bebe chunidi nam simulation asi that Tisegi plan talks na the Foreign Ministry is also very happy that Government of India ki honle plan talks is the first time that their Foreign Secretary is leading the team. So tina bilaterally hemagi issues you may sort out be then plan talks na le 12 plan na lugi remaining budget that as soon as possible kara tel hanjo dise khora gi now se tebe sunde toto chunche until now bodolo almost about 85%, 86% of the planned budget is already released and reached. It has never happened before. The Korean sim gadi do. Not that they had any intentions to delay other times now, but this time the ambassadors, former and current ambassadors, are also on it on daily basis. Government and officials in Delhi are also very, very receptive. Timely information this project details benidigi. The one of the most efficient release of budget be khona tebe chume ngachige tebara feel beila laluchiru ngachige mashulera timely huni seshuni. So last out of 45 billion that they have committed, the last 7 billion they chiraila. So that is absolutely acceptable or excellent results be you say the secretary same gai ngache we also thank them and look forward to similar efficiencies at Tebeshui. 13 plan ge ngache lapchi khoralu tare reforms slash be benidigi ngache achichi atada phebachin the time the ani achichi delay jodos mchibe chomato as a holding ngache late jogobra mi say we still have 7-8 months, another 3-4 months ngache 13 plan will be ready set ever lapchila tanale if there is any room tengara khoralu personally ra develop taita ngachelu plan di toto chunchu ondo zumbe 5-yearly planning toto chunchu bedo zumbodulu mefemese di men it was of huge help to us, but with time with changing times and needs bodulu relevance the less jode ese ngachegita every 5 years nalu interim government 3 months diogobi gale the 5 years ki calculation the calendar year na jo then political calendar the every 3 months is lost to interim government, then end of term slow down to jome beginning of term pick up the timing to go boda every 5 years now 1 year there is slow down ya yomela So ani nga che tide over beni se. We don't want to see this gap or dip. Every 2012 na GDP 2 de chukupino, 2018 na GDP 3 de chukupino, as of a high of 7-8 desle. Ani nga chigi iru meru andu bego se koralu develop chila. Tan labdalwe the rest of the donor partners, donor countries, we go by the plan period be jodo se, dialogue chi bego de. But with trusted partners like GOI, we really don't have to restrict to the 5-yearly planning mode na dromego se. Tan bindige chegi maligi support the evenly nada bachin, we will use it more during this gap to fill it up so that there is no downturn. Sani be chegi develop the ro. The namisimi gai se shunivela. Now with time, we must change the way we support each other. Say we are very, very open. Say commitment, priorities, the 13 plan na tsube. We have been working very closely together. Government had been very, very receptive. Say appreciation sundela. Appreciate be. I'm a professional. I'm very, very open. We are partner. We are here to support your interest. With this in mind, let us know your conditions. We are here to support your ideas. Daregi visit foreign secretary stand-alone visit the first time he only came with his minister. He did not come in the capacity of foreign secretary before. So Tariani Chenbi Benediga, Namisimi Lejimi Asi Senomena. Last ring Mapani, 13 plan Gikolachika Gilodi, Tangachana Beranga Hemashui, 13 plan de that is reforms gi Miguel Dubnigi to the plan period the first Rani Mevala. So 13 plan should be able to carry on the vision of the reforms that is ongoing now. Anichi Hisang Sevego se. Lengache Bhutan, when the transformation activity gets implemented, and 13 plan, the first plan Benedige, Namisemi crucially la. Vision change, transformation ki vision, Bathimi ki plan chiko vese. Tinale focus dirangache economy gui, because the state of the country is nothing but state of that country's economy me. Tani economy be watching, return on investment hisang sabe go vese. Tiru kate tarura, choose majoa. Panakola pa yai mi, mai mi, bebe beni mapalera mi. Taru external funded omidisu, be it grant or loan, we must ensure that that we have clarity on return on investments. Anything achi hisang sabera tarichi ani bedose shunivila. Lenchi di 13 plan na omega le budgeting process toto bewachin tetangachinalu clear be hisang samila. You spend 100 million on a capital work. Ani capital digibe next year after completing the work, its impact on recurrent budget toto thojani mevala clear be. Toto ngache building chin capital works na jume building ni chapsai gale ani building ni maintain be ni recurrent budget na juma ani hisang sami. Len invest chi beni sawachin productivity question mibe ngachigi. What is the interest rate or investment rate? Ani kati wonga mibe. So 13 plan ding achiga ani hisang sa go sera yula. So budgeting system the accrual method na jong se shunibela. Last toto ngachi anchime but totoru nyama GNSC is under one roof. Activities of GNSC is now gone to 3 divisions la. Chidi visioning, explaining what is GNH, principles of GNH, then how to marry GNH, the GDP semisuru Center for Bhutan and GNH Studies giziu. Then prospective long-term visioning, planning this today, the cabinet giveziu. We have a new department led by Director Sencho. And then ani long-term plan di besai gale, day to day on annual budgeting bebe, every year gi la disu kadimchi bedoga, kadibe bedega, improvement kadibe duga, sectors kachina lu tu shodega, lejime jodega tamidi, the Department of Budget jong se shunibela, Minister of Finance na. So ani sumna to divide bela, Minister of Finance gi budget under cabinet and Center for Bhutan Studies. So as an institution, GNSC mibamum, functional component is now being more focused. So that would be 13 plan in gist, but no doubt that Dajanga should zumbe nalapa 13 plan gu lojulabdra diogola and media chere tengagi through Kezang I let you all know whenever we have maybe coordination meetings on 13 plan, please drop by the then tarelera build up process chegi khemachin. Every time when you attend a meeting, you need not write a story the next day because that story will be half cooked la. Because the whole story is in the process of making benedigi chegi wholesome picture mithon. But couple of months down the line, we will have the completed 13 plan by June langache. Absolutely all done by June. So when you write the story, if you are party to the build-up process, your story will have vision. Your story will have continuity. Please do not blame us for not giving access to information. Other than my bedroom, you all are most welcome to participate. To answer Tsring's question, but for the information to everyone, please drop by. I will let Kezang inform you all when we will be having the coordination meetings on 13 plan. So totoma agency level na mahula. Activity level na de almost all activities are there, but any activity consolidation level na mahula. That's why we are not able to tell you how much we are going to spend in health and how much we are going to spend in education. Other than that, more or less, ready you session. Last. Sorry, Kezang, I'm keeping it short.
Lastly, I've taken note on inviting media colleagues for the 13 plan discussions, involving them in the process. Lastly, for the next question, in absence of education level, I would like to request Major Lynch to take the question. It's from BBS, Karmala.
My question is regarding the missing of the 4 Dixie envelopes with the answer sheets last time. So on January 14th, an emergency was held, chaired by Your Excellency. So after which Dixie filed a complaint with the Gelefu police. So are there any updates with the investigation?
Ani Totopa Tashiti missing papers ki koleme. That in the first place, as soon as we found it out, I conducted an emergency meeting with the stakeholders. There's the Big C and education, school management meet be. While it is of huge disappointment to all of us, such things cannot be accepted. Did exactly happened base that was some decades ago. After that, they were being very careful. But unfortunately, this time, 4 papers of some 40 students, physics, maths, chemistry, and English paper 2, science, biology, sorry. 40 students ki papers minose. They kongi preliminary they were not very sure, but they thought the box containing those envelopes were little tampered. And the tape the open but and the tape there is not the usual tape that we get to buy from town. So specific tape managed and organized by Big C themselves. So ani toto kongi investigation chap the ting tape the damisume that investigation de ngagi tisera labbe. It cannot be done by Minister of Education or Big C themselves. So ani police gira bego ani criminal investigation da bego labbe. Immediately we lodged a complaint with since it happened in Gelefu. The police branch in Gelefulu, Bebe Totoro, the Thimpu headquarters has taken over session. So while we don't know how far the investigations have gone, police we should be able to identify the culprit and fix him or her. While the Besauda, Bei Shokara, students whose papers are lost, we need to have some marks for them. So the immediately Big C and education was suggesting to retake the exam. The TD retake mabe option menu. We feel terribly bad for the families that are under duress now, stressed out. Yet we really have no options with the heartfelt apologies to the families and students. We have no choice. Dane ngache big C da ngache khalabbe the latest exam results nam declared beni so the 28th 29th of this month you can really jora jogo was labde laru. Dane be machin then let's work backwards labbe the 4 days of exam 3 days of assessment bekara jabe beodalu. The students could be given some 3 to 4 days of counseling and regrouping their mindset. Machi tari announce biuchi naba exam bebe mabela. So tari naba they'll be finishing the exam see tari naba ina nasi the exams judula. So ani be then 2 to 3 days of exam paper correction. And the paper correction day same teachers gira bego slapchila. Same teachers who evaluated the rest of the students. It cannot be done by anybody who is available. Then I also told Minister of Education to go through the exams taken by those students over the course of 1 year. Class 12 na devdalu 2 weekly monthly exams chida 2 end of term assessment chi trial exam chi chapnula kongi. They all have taken 5 exams. Dani ngai khulu shui ani paper missing yumi subjects gi 5 papers gi all 5 exams ki average marks jana se we have that marks in our hands la. Say Mr. X in these 5 exams in maths he scored 78% se ru 5 exam ki mark average lava jabe taregi retake exam na lo nami simi lo thunso bachin then anilu ngachi ki no such tango be se maybe because of the stress and circumstances that he or she is giving the exam. He is actually a good student. His worth is 78% do. So we will decide as to probably average marks that are one time chamile car hamidi chindaru ki mino se tengagi ti khunu develop cheese shunibinga. Not we have not decided yet, but that is also an option. So Analu while we feel terribly bad about the mishap, we will make sure that that he or she is caught or found. We will make sure that this will not happen again, and then we will also let the nation know what we are doing with the culprit. If you have any advice, it should not happen. We know it should not happen. We must also do whatever is possible not to happen again. We will do whatever is best. Then stress unfair parents are also worried and stressed. So yet, is there any other way we could have managed this? After finding out that the papers are lost, what should we do? If you have any other suggestions that we should have handled otherwise, please let us know. While questioning what has happened is relevant, making suggestions to not let it happen again is what is required now. And I'm not saying on an issue that is happening on annual basis or regularly happen big C ginami semi thamtabe benidigira, it has not happened so frequently, and these things happen in any institutions and any countries, by the way. So unfortunately, my heart goes out to the families and students and teachers who are mentally disturbed now, yet we have absolutely no choice but to go through the reassessment program. That the average marks of the 5-6 exams that they have taken in the 12th standard, comparable, then probably there should not be any criticism. Last, so something police investigation ongoing. We will have no room to investigate the investigators now. Police don't leave any stones unturned. Since there was a mishap, culprit dara dasungo se michigi de tambashi benubala ani dara dasungo se ngai tebeshui session ibina.
Last Namije, thank you. Mijay, next question is for Works Limpoduji, but Limpo's having some issue with the internet. So we have arranged for Limpo to meet BBS reporter Devika at his office on Monday, 11 a.m. Can they just arrange that? So moving on, we have three similar questions to Mijay Lenchen again. And I think because there's only one angle to that question, so if Thringpal then Kunsel can ask the question and Mijay Lenchen to answer in brief.
It's regarding the civil servants reform. The RCC has issued a notification, and the number of ministries has been reduced to 9. So we're just curious as to now if the cabinet has decided anything on who would step down and when. That'll be the question. Thank you.
Las analu mapa ngache sunde naida sunde nabe ani karagi 10 ministries ministers ime 9 ministries ime se summe wala, as Sring rightly said, and to repeat Sring who will step down se ime te ngagi na cabinet nalu about 3 weeks back nga cabinet na shuila ngache we raised this and discussed this, so I rephrase it. Now there are only 10 cabinet portfolios and we are 11 Seshwila. Not 10 ministers and 9 ministries. Now we have 10 cabinet portfolios and 11 of us imese, including myself. So Analu Toto Angachara, when you want to write a story, of course, it's your discretion how you will write Ngatina Lushunimi, Tenga Yulumbusula Anibreshui. Option sum de chit home se option chi I will be the happiest person to stay out. Nga party president the government ki head ime ani with toto. You may have noticed that I'm not able to step out of Thimphu at all. My heart is aching day and night. I must visit the local governments. I must visit the villages. I must communicate and interact with the villages. Nali Thimpule Zotamigi, Chaji Disuki Chelu Penuga se, Chelu Peniga se, Tab Madu Yovachin Kadebu Yopse, every village nalu, every household na Josun Rabme, Tidi Joem Subnio. So Tevebo Dangagi Toto Tunse, the Samzongagi Geog Chuchi Karashe, Tunsigi Geoge, Bumtagi Geog Shidichi, the covered Besuchi, Animato Kate Jomasupla. Even as you all have noticed, may have realized, pandemic give a midterm review day online the review beila tinaya humasup tareta nimchira chika yasuge sere, there are issues coming up, major decisions needed to be taken. So ani with kate jomasup the ngari constituency dinga South Thimphu di 2018 election time na masu after election e kam make. So ani with kate jomasup dui. So my offer to my cabinet friends is I'll step out since I'm the party president. I'll go around, meet people. Tenga Mr. Chika Dewa Tabbe, I'll run the party office. Tenga the Jun Chumin na Kahara Dingdi Ngai Takta Lashayu, the Cheki Zedra Tube, the option Chi Tebe Pila. The option Nibadi, the Runyama, like a home minister discussion Omega Lera, Lumpusum de Chigingalu. If I, as the cabinet chair, wanted some more new faces in the cabinet, they were willing to stay out so that I can induct more new faces. Be tebe suila aninga limpo karma dojinga chiki tansu chemi ki kablu ila. If I wanted more than one, I was given the option to induct 4 new faces because existing serving dele consum de chiki de go dege se suila tenga taregi na option second de ani phi. Since I have the 3 names with me, I can discuss with the 3 and take one elevate one say. Then third option being a tisera shushui cabinet na discussion nam dalu, or we can reach a consensus today. Taring a consensus chihubachin so da then one Limpo took the stage and said ngagi option 1 the absolutely option men se summe ngaduni di mitup se sunde koduni se summela. He will run the party show se sunde. Then another one took the stage and said by any means ko hemaya ko joge se shui totobere he should stay out se and ko constituency ne humisube tha ri be benidige that lori ringi pana chare derege humisube tha hyupchin na lao thomme tani bodalo ko constituency na lo nami semi deficient asi tani bini ko if he can be left out say or if he can be the one say sundela so ani zumbe 4 limpos came up ngara ju boda ngachinga ime then I stopped the dialogue tejo limpo laluchi tina tisegi cabinet na lo mi the limpo laluchi I didn't give them the floor to talk so now I have 5 of us to choose one session evila so ani to ngagi finalize the mabe decide the mabe so I'm chatting with these 4 limpos including myself ngachinga ime the bilateral labdola the ani galera nga khonalo tebera shui all of them actually have sent in return why they want to step out, why they should be the one tebera sundela. So problem looks like the difficult part for me is to choose one of 11 Zumbe Thui. But now there are, including myself, there are 5 of us who actually wants to be the one. So anibodalo step down mema, step up mela, step up me. They are raising ever politics. So ani yu session ni ti namsimi problem me tarechegi notice bebe on limpo marsho feel na joinla because after this month NCG active election campaign period jobe begale travel restriction namisimi thon ECB honle for very right reasons so ani with the tarechachi they all MPs are in their constituencies yuila now they started falling back tare tsingi answer na ani yu by name to decide before me, but I have the names of 4 limpos with a very, very wise ever politics justification anyway, anyway, to another mapada namsimi ani begobe mino ngalu names sumidi limpotandi he wants to run the party ime chi limpo yishipenjoin chi limpo kamadondini chi limpo ugeni then after that I didn't allow the rest to talk la that nalu tachi limpo karma tisin ani meeting na mi limpo namge tisemi limpo dishene na jnu but this meeting na khon mi la yumisugi tele tani khon jigi ngalu ani besunde ngachare tina tsui so one of the 5 will stay out la ro jemi to go mino bala.
Just a clarification, any addition to the portfolio wise, Joe, I think the MOIC ministry has been split into parts and then merged with other ministries. So right now, anyway, the common ordinary, if you take the ordinary angle, then it seems like he would be the ideal person to leave because he has no ministry as such be dula.
Papa ani that is also not wrong. In fact, Kamadojinado is not fair if I don't mention this. Ko ministry minu se ministry minu constituency ne jalarel ge humisube he will be rukhoragi görebe summe. I am absolutely fine. It will be my pleasure to be the shortest serving minister in the cabinet se khoragi tebe suila. He will be the last to enter and first to exit saying alu tebe sui. So discuss community he is also can be there, but I'm not going to go beyond the numbers that I already got because fair enough meba so ani bini to karmadoji ge kalo karma dondin ministry minidigi me seme but as you all know he is also one straight cutting able cabinet member china the limutandi justification de party totally left out. If you have not noticed, DNT is already left out. We are functioning as Royal Government of Bhutan. So there is no individual, no machinery running DNT. So Limpo being a founder, he is very passionate and he wants to run the party daily affairs na. The Korai Chashuni, the Nalidi Tangache Kahabiru, Jimmy Kahabiru Chigibe, the foreign affairs, the Namdas, the Sunde. The Limbu Ugen ro Hemaya swing alo. Home Minister ki time na lo swing ko youngest koi by any means on a very, very willing note he should be the one. The co-constituency ne minu dumisube se Tim Shin Kang para Chongoni digi the Loren Thare Humisube. The next 7-8 months the co-constituency na Dusuba Chin, then he can connect with every individual in his constituency, not every household. Lumbo has that vision and Lumbo has that capacity. Kopa dube chim rere nalu nimre dube be ko connect besu hose. I'm not at all worried about whose ministry is there or whose ministry is not there. All the functions of the previous 10 ministries are already there. So ministry I'm not saying that is wrong, but I need not follow that formula. But so while I'm having discussions with my Lumpo friends bilaterally, I also know I should not take too long. That with absolute pleasure, that I would still insist that my friends consider what I have reported. That I can probably, it's my moral responsibility to lead the party, as much as it's my absolute honor to be head of the government. Leading the party is also serving the nation. So at the end, as the last remark to this question, protocol gira the kara mionga de muchigi city dongalish ta shumidisu the logdi mi yara pugo ose shunibi latro. So aniche ngachara kara gi tuganam go ose shunibi. Because it's under my nomination, all the ministers were appointed by His Majesty the King. So I only have the right to nominate again. Last thank you, Tsring.
Last Lamiji, thank you. Quickly moving on to Sherab La Business Bhutan.
This is Sherab from Business Bhutan. My question would be, the World Bank has forecast the business economy to grow by 4.1% in the financial year 2022 to 2023. In its report, Global Economic Prospect, that is released in the early January this year. And similarly, in the report of Nations report, it has forecasted the economy to growth of the economy to be 4.5%. So in line to this, what will be the economic forecast for 2023 and what are some of the indicators to boost the economy?
Last, give just 30 seconds. Ani tatuna semidisu karalu, including Sring Pelden, Tachinga Shuminale, Navachera story tudalu, Tsagechinai, Lapsauda. These names are going to be submitted to His Majesty Zumbe Chegi Tebe Timada Mela. Ultimately, Yalebe decide Benizumbe Mela. It is absolutely party decision ila. So Anbindige, the last ya Pugo Semidi Chegi, omit be Jadre Tube, because it can send wrong messages ila. This is absolutely internal matters in Seshunibi. Tengagidi unconditionally, I still offer, but Tisera, Tenga step out bed unit Semidi Kaye Shegi Shimatubna. Because that is party decision, a cabinet decision. So on that day, they all refuse. So I don't think I can push agenda number 1 now. So I need clarity. So yeah, Myonga Muchiki Shapsa Pini Semisu, Totongagi, protocol issue, Motochip, now story to him the wrong way. I know saying that it's an absolutely Nacharagi cabinet party decision in session.
Last, let me we have taken note of that. Yes, Lempunamgila.
Las Karchela, Tangachari GDP go in Mabala question data. Tata to the Nacharagi Diakapnolu, the Nachara GDP, the Nagi Bewashindi. It is not a GDP that is important at this point in time. But I think we could clearly see that there is some fundamental issues. Macroeconomic parameter issues with our kind of economy. So the choice is whether you are chasing the GDP growth or you want to first fix this macroeconomic parameter imbalances. So Ani Bodulu Tangagi Bawashindi, with my limited knowledge, with the kind of advice that I received from Honorable Prime Minister, cabinet colleagues, and the experts in my ministry and elsewhere, my choice would be to first fix these anomalies in the economic fundamentals. So ani bodolu GDP di ngachera ngaragi shipsuchi beta bodolu. Literature says that in order to derive GDP, the calculation is based on two methods. One is income approach method, and another is expenditure approach method to derive GDP. The ngachigidi is mostly an expenditure derived approach in issue. So ani bodolu, in order to get a better GDP, I think we need to pump in more investment, meaning like we have to adopt an expansionary fiscal stance, expansionary fiscal policy. That through the Saduki Mangi the Mam, Masashitu the Mambetu Yanyo, it will basically tantamount to imports. Whatever we invest, basically translate into imports. Now, if we are into that drive, then you need to have adequate reserve to sustain that. So ani beodolu tatugi critical issues the kachiyo mo sawachin. Tachinga konlu shidozumbe GDP dilu ngachegi tsotene membashinda macroeconomic fundamentals the parameters to fix bego bese. The macroeconomic fundamentals the parameters of the susu kande minoba ha komasu kane mino only the economists will understand me membe. Ngachiri netana bebe wachin. Trade deficit in bese shunina. Trade deficit is synonymous to current account deficit. Ani beodolu I need to contain import the cathedral rationalize best. So the GDP, to be honest, I'm being upfront here. 2020 our GDP was down to -10 and it is sustained over a period of 6 months. And as per the global definition, then basically during those periods we were under recession. In in 2020 GDP has actually jumped up to 3.7%. This is mainly because we have adopted an expansionary fiscal stance. We didn't realize that globally after the COVID, Ukraine, the Russia, food and energy prices dollar neutron appreciate and these are all uncertain things, and we are still vulnerable to all this uncertainty and external shocks. So ani bodolu tatugi nesikalu dingai boshin shule ngachegi peljugi netang di centok to maungi netang di centok to zogo boshin ngatachi konlu shido zumbe tani macroeconomic parameters to fix bego besushini. But having said that, tatugi nesikalu di ngachi GDP were a bit comfortable. Government expenditure actually contributes almost around 37 to 38% to GDP. Now, if we try to lower the government expenditure, government budget, then the GDP mahajunima bala. So basically, GDP expenditure approach. We need to put in more investment. People need to have a more disposable income to boost their consumption. Dollar reserve down judo import rationalize lochi katule dinalo so I think we have to go with one prominent solution so that future anomalies will be resolved. Having said that, lastly, the GDP that every quarter update macro files, macroeconomic files, every quarter update below. Forecast is a forecast, so it is never an accurate figure. So, but World Economic Outlook IMF, World Bank forecast it is forecast. This is not an actual kind of a derived figure at the end of the year. So this time 2022, we are expecting our Honorable Prime Minister's address to nation. The report now 4.3%. That was our forecast. So somewhere between 3.5 to 4%, because government expenditure infrastructure we are not doing a good job. So cost infrastructure cost escalate investment we're trying to curtail down and we're trying to rationalize and optimize the public expenditure. So the GDP will be somewhere lingering between 3.5 to 4%, which is fairly enough for us. Globally, advanced economy, the emerging economies, latest report shows that as of January 2022, latest World Bank report shows that all the advanced economic GDP has downgraded by significant number of significant figures la. Ani bodolo gekap US la bhai GDP 1.1% gulu malu downsize be janula, downgrade be janula, and ours is nothing basically as compared to the advanced and emerging markets la. So ani bodolo tatugin ese kalu anamchi, but 2023 going forward, our forecast is that traditionally ngachal ki GDP ki trajectory di tawachin India ki GDP da ngachi GDP di ani parallel be jumable. We follow the same trend la, because our currency is pegged with Indian rupee. That but based on that historical trend, the GDP, the Indian GDP is going to grow in 2023 by 6.7%, and we are forecasting that our GDP has to go up by 5.3%.
Karichila Limpola. Next we have Krishna Prasad Kunsal, and he has two education-related questions. So I would like to request him to ask both the questions together, and then requesting Mijilin to answer. Krishna.
Thank you. So I am Krishna Prasad from Kunsal. So my question is related to education. So what are the plans of the government to address the shortage of teachers in schools? And then has the ministry decided on the renewal of contract of the teachers who are on contract? And then the second question is, digital learning has supplemented traditional learning in classroom. So in this case, what is the government doing to provide better ICT facilities in schools? Thank you.
That's why, Krishna, thank you for the questions. Again, as I said, this question was asked many times. Similar answers were given many times. Progress to the the question first component, the acute shortage of teachers. How are we planning to address this? The Totogi relation, the Krishna probably is trying to draw some parity with the attrition rate in Mela. Then just to set the context right, the attrition among teachers is not higher than the rest of the civil servants or public servants. It's almost in the range of 5.5 to 6% better. By absolute number of the teachers, anyway, we have roughly 9,000, some 800 teachers. We need to the number the matozum some annually roughly about 300 to 350 So attrition rate, the number high attrition rate is almost same across all boards, all agencies in MSHNB. Now, shortage had always been there. And shortage too is being covered by two sets of contact teachers. Just to set the context right again, we have regular contacts and consolidated contacts. Regular contacts are teachers who actually have passed out from SAMSI and or Poro campus. Teachers training a bachelor's degree UMI, but who did not or who chose not to take the RCC exam or could not get through the exams. So they are given regular contact. So they are basically qualified teachers. They are regular shortage UMI jomla. Then the other group is consolidated contract. And consolidated contract, a particular teacher, say somebody is out on leave or EOL or maternity leave or ansumda UMI so. The fill up beneficial authorities also given to the Zonghag level na. The Kora Gibetam may be. So we roughly have about 1,000 teachers who are actually on one of these contacts na yula. 800 something the regular contact na do. So Anichi Taringachi Kalab Buddha contacts are given for 2 years ime. Some teachers are given or getting renewal, so 3-4 times. 8-9 years contact teaching be dumi yobala. The both education the RCC if that person is really good to get his contact renewed 3-4 times, he or she actually deserves a regular position. The education the RCC ki only better the regular teaching na ongobachin teacher ki graduation di go degree di go RCC ki exam di pass thongo. Other than that, there is absolutely no entrance into regular civil service teaching mela. If you want to be a regular civil servant, you must have a bachelor's degree and you must have taken and passed the RCCG entrance exam. Any criteria ni fulfill majowachin, one can absolutely not be a civil servant di lang achinalo. So ani nga chigi ha kogo bebala. Ani contact teachers regularize beunga mebega se nami semi question ombe. But BCSR and RCC Act do not allow any agency to regularize that because we need to have a bachelor's degree and you need to pass the RCC exam. Ani beni digila. The regular teachers who took the exam and could not qualify are given 3 chances, 3 years nalo. Sum attempt bechuk me. After that, they attempt remedial. So toto anichi scenario with this background, toto education the chiga khalab be ta. You know, recently we actually amended 46 laws, 46 acts amend bebe the ngachigi reforms facilitate bening tenlula analu RCC Act de use shuni be. Shivicha team de ana yula anale ngachigi tare chi opt in opt out. You can exit and you can enter. So somebody, any Bhutanese can be a civil servant at any given point in time. Totogi Act na bewachin, a civil servant after resignation can never be a civil servant again until now. With the recent amendment of the Act, a civil servant can go out and come back again. Private sector nale, now you can slowly RCC ki toto sundinamiga ila. RCC is really trying their best to see how best we can keep up with the changing needs. So the RCC is also opening up a lot. I'm so grateful to RCC that they are now being very flexible and forward-looking. So Hanzume Unidigi, now we can think of teachers who are on contract being a regular civil servant. Legally, so Ministry of Education is immediately looking on teachers who are on contract, regular contract, meaning those who have the basic degrees in teaching. To regularize benigi that numbers analysis bebe asks the chica dialogue benigi kangache last week lapchi is shunibi. So Anichu Kunsel Krishna, I mean, did I answer your question? Toto animchina yula. While shortage is a concern, quality is even a bigger concern ila. So ani number cham chi fill up be jabe the quality di hamper yasobachi neji meunime se tsage namisimi, but of course shortage namisimi. So last week I met the education ministry executives with under new leadership. They are also working on holistic workup of the number of teachers required overall kadimchi goga. Under that, subject wise be kadimchi goga. Ani kara kongi the exhaustive exercise she bena singa tebe shunibi, which actually they are already doing. So ani besauda Glenn, I was sharing with them that we will negotiate with RCC to allow Minister of Education to employ that many teachers. 10,000 go sawachin RCC le approval the 10,000 lensai gale and 10,000 di khatsunna kadibetsunna the Ministry of Education gibe decide benig roomje guzogove semichi ngaragi bilateral education chiga tebe share base shunibina. But of course that is absolutely RCC discretion. We'll have to negotiate with them. Now again same teachers shortage ki questions, the answers, issues so please allow me to ask you all and Krishna in particular a question. How should we solve this, Krishna? Please give us your suggestions. We are a very small country and we can easily manage this country together.
Yes. Last let me just Tangagi Beachin Demije, the Midi Sugira Berungach Father Sujo, the look, Kachisum Chila Mesewachin, Tangachigi Beit Chabe Omidisu, RCC through Majumi Lashi, a regular contract Nalula. So Anidin Disulu, contra any regular teaching Nalutsuachin, the Atsis Salt Be Mitsugase, Anizumchigi, Samcha Disue, Midisugi, Kesatom Melamji.
So I think that part I already shared. Toto Sunse, it's only right that RCC is taking their stand to Kongi regular teacher be civil servant be jugo sewachin shirap poro or something graduation certificate di go RCC nagi minimum 50% requirement di top go se dula ani through majowachin one can never dream to be a regular civil servant. Now, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Malami disu regular contract na sujabe dinula. Tanule, just to add to more, more information. Regular contract disu regular teachers ki pay plus 30% topla. RCC pass 10 P5 na jumidi ki salary digulu 30% contract allowance top. So we are aware of this. Now, if we regularize the 800 teachers, those who are on regular contact, regular na tsuda bachin, then 30% tumagoni digi, we immediately save some 30 plus million save jomela. So but again, we have to respect the regulations that our Civil Service Commission is following, because they have to man all the 32,000 civil servants man. So then we need to follow one rule of law that everyone understands and follows. But Krishna did not answer my question. My question is, how do we address the shortage? Regularizing the teachers on contact do not address the shortage, because they are already teaching. They do not add more numbers. They are already included in the teaching fraternity in the Kongyula. So regularizing them gives them the confidence to be a regular civil servant, but number they add majority.
Last lamije tangagiani dachi shuni vemi danu vingalamije tani teacher disu di lasha dolangachnal tibeudalu contract na luchu beudalu the contract na demi teacher disu gi khongi regular zumchi facility mithoebala lich. So anbeudalu gach bemelawachin after 1 to 2 years na le khoya dele resign bebe father su jomebala. So any time na ludi in order to retain them maybe regular gi facilities disu suachin de midaga se anzumchin.
Last, good luck, good Krishna. I have taken note of that. And those who are teaching on contract, some of them are even better than regular teachers. Even though they did not get trained as teachers, they have the inherent aptitude to be a good teacher. So identify talent hunt while regularizing them will retain them in teaching profession or not, I really don't know, because regular teachers are leaving. You are saying contact teachers are leaving because they are not regularized, but then that doesn't explain why the regular teachers are leaving. So Anzum Byoda, a problem there, a problem thing identify better, but the solution is not as easy as one thinks. So Krishna, I'm happy with your suggestions, but ngagi points I think you would have taken note of that. So an easy be. Again, as I said, let me end by saying that while number is a problem, quality is even a bigger problem. Quality and be mindful.
Lasmiji, we have the second part of his question on the ICT facilities in schools.
Sorry. And the ICT, you know that we have a flagship program on education, that is ICT, ICTization the schools. 1.2 billion, 1,200 million. Implementation status is very, very good. By the way, even with the pandemic, 12 5-year plan had the maximum budget until now. Every budget year, we are spending more than past years. 310 billion approved budget of the 12 plan. Halam plan period ki we still have some 9 months to go, 8 months to go, but plan period ki tiru zosi as ngachi ki spend besai. As I told you, GOI ki 45 billion nale 85% implement besanu la, use besanu ngachi ki. So ani implement mabe se lab mabe se lamidi. So my personal expectation is to analyze it properly from a very fair point of view and see if it merits any change of mind now. Much the narrative ati change bemogoba se saga masa don bega mabe shu se la mebala. Then the language ki tango be se mi through the capital ki budget disu kara ta sai na le tepe ta do wata. Ani chi te ani flagship nale education na di 1,200 million ki budget ICTization na yu. With this, all the schools now have a ICT lab la. All the schools now have a ICT lab. Every primary school, every junior high school and high school, middle and higher secondary school now have a ICT lab. ICT lab with a computer to student ratio of 1:15. Every 15 students lunga che computer rate. Our plan is to get it down to below 10. If possible, 1 set to 5 students zoni is shunibi. So ani ICT lab you now. While most of them are connected with 3 or 4G, laluchino internet connection legim me, laluchino 2G flickering bedu. Anyway, we are trying to boost that, and it is very difficult to let it happen overnight. So education shube now major important reading materials. This hard drive na anyway so that they really don't have to be online to have those access to those materials. Number 2, the Chegi Shibu, through MOIC, we have fiber optic connection Jodawala. Almost all public institutions, all geowork centers, other than few geoworks, are now fiber optically connected. Out of 508 schools, we have only 9-10 schools that are not connected with the fiber optic. So physically, any school campus, almost except there's 8-9 schools, fiber optic connection kasaila. So now some have started benefiting from this. Rest, we are trying to make use of this physical connection, spending billions of Niltram on this. So anyway, the one huge success by MOIC and DITT is to lay fiber optic connection to almost all public institutions, including schools. So anyway, local content without having to write on internet, share besu. So a major IT, ICT infrastructure within the country. Outside the country, you all have heard many times that we are working on third internet gateway. Current 2 gateways are both through Siliguri corridor. Now the third gateway through Bangladesh to Singapore will Bangladesh Indian Bangladesh border to Bhutan India border intervening GOI the Chikha recently, even yesterday when I met the Foreign Secretary, with pride, Foreign Secretary was mentioning that it is all done and approved. So very soon we will have our redundancy issue also addressed. So anyway, since these things do not grow overnight, one of biggest chapters under ICTizing Bhutan has happened in Seshunibela. So while e-learning makes a lot of sense, pandemic time, the very, very sad stories. We had to make our students learn on mobile phones. This mobile phone is not meant for regular academics. Sessions, syllabus, yet we had to resort to that. And we are calling students learning on their parents' mobile as e-learning, which I personally feel is not the case. That is not where we want to go. We see a graduate or a class 12 pass out student working on the farm, and we start calling him or her as educated farmer, when he or she doesn't have any education in farming. So to call somebody educated farmer, he or she should have education in farming. To call ourselves and be happy that we are now a digitalized teaching system, ICTized teaching system, every student must have an ICT gadget and not carrying 10, 12 kilos of books on their backs. All teachers should be able to learn and deliver what they have learned to the students on writing on ICT. With that, teachers should facilitate learning and students should learn by themselves. And the learning teaching a dynamics change as you all are aware. Teachers are only facilitators to learning. Information access to problem maybe a couple of decades back, teachers were the source of information. Now information is readily available. Teachers need not be the source of information. Teachers should only facilitate students getting access to those information. Information is easily available and free of cost. Uncle Google and Auntie YouTube can teach you in whatever information you want. So then that is called a digitized or ICTized schooling system. We are very happy that we could roll this out. We are very happy with the connections. Wherever we go, school Jina Joishlin, my first area that I want to see after the students and staff ki toilets, I want to see the ICT labs labila. So excitement I'm not saying we have achieved what we wanted to achieve, but path to achievement had been very clear. So ICTization the anim chiyula. So now the Cheragi, I'm sure you all are in Thimphu, but you are not from Thimphu. So please call up your villages, call up your primary schools wherever you have gone to. On the call beshna ICT lab yoga se functioning kadebe bedo se. Anything can I provide? Anything can I help? Please let us know. Se Konginale Totoru ICT lab maybe number of students at 1 is to 15 as I said. Internet ki connection clear be me. Ansuding achige identify be fiber optic husovachin fiber optic hubdalu advantages kadibe waiga se. The analebe cheragi access to Joe. Maybe you can buy a hard drive that will cost you some 10-15,000. The reading material legend download be cherapa cheragi nyama cheratami primary school gi head teacher lunabe analu reading material some few thousand books, the magazines, the videos you alusulu tada choose another legimu session. And when you visit your villages, please walk by that school and see the ICT lab. It will give you such a absolute pleasure to see these youths playing with Code Monkey on a brand new desktop. That was my shorter one.
Yes, Lamije, we are past our 2 hours that we booked for this session. But moving on, Lamije, we will give Mije a short break and take Karmaundi's question for health Lempola. BBS Karmaundi.
Kuch zambola mije ngigiti health lu mela ngigiti ta recently bigmagi ani zonga paper desu ani insa benich de wala inke gi nalu ani gi langi gite
Last, I think there's a mix up with the names here. Tubla, then I think we will take Tubla Karma on this question first.
Tauchigi hemala ani bigmagi chapter tang to zumbe wachin la ani inke gi sarso nganalu zonghagi insert de tumago be sodan wala hema be wachin de decade years gi hema be wachin de khongi lokti yangchar inke da zonghade lama se gergi sarsu disgi de belam ni wala te anibedalu te tari tachiktu debe te inke disu tumago inke gi ani sarsu nalu zongha tumago zumeti tukchar gatile te ndigebe na anichi ila
Last ani ngagi shudage because na limbo karma dondin majube wala ani mapanga che lojuche lapchi ke tata totona ka karma gilami di bawachin papers like other papers zonkha me ma jemisuna doda the mandatorily in zonkha ki component chi tsugobe du lanalu even if it is one page tsugobe du tani ngaragi taroe tebara choi te khonchashapke tebara lapme ani di other than additional cost, it doesn't help meet any purpose at Tebesumime. The Tsugomigi reason the Bewachin, Zonka, Yargetani, the Tarshaptani Gitulu, Semich Labno. But Zonka paper Chinalunesu Tichitsubagidi, Yarge Majoe, Tarshabe Tamitsube. So Ani Benidigi, the Namisimichi, Kepen Kane Minu, Doso Chuse Imese, the Anidi. Digudi imese meme selami kae mitumela. Doso choose meme selami kae mitume. Digi zonka yergetan lu kepen kane minuse karagi tebara lapme. Dani imese no bebe tenga chepa juril hengada ngache kachilap dajipsuda ngache kachilap te toto inge tengebe dedicatedly bemi kelchi sashodu time machin tabunabu zonka ki dedicated issue tumi kunseldu 다닝이 일로 배워진 접촉 가데타타 대표로 퓨님에세 네츠 레짐 배워진 English 마케미디 속이 네츠 시고니기 될로디 데 종가지니기 고급도 아니 열게땅고 배에세 네츠디 네츠기 퓨체 레짐 존이 되는 같이 차로 가데타타 퓨데 사쇼 제미디스나디 아니 종가기 쇼 이구치 티베 쭈쭈바기디 몽고베 펜 메토베에세 로 람장기 데바랍데 유입질려코 네술 마토 티미 마토바 남타쭈니 구쭈이 셀랍데바나 이피 남타쭈 뒤는 바데 같이라 대로 디케 디로 조아 준비 메토메라 종같이 쪼고 세우 마토칩 디날로 남타쭈미 쇼센 미노데 디게 대로 디디라틴 뚜미기 이야기치 조니요 바친 조디디고 아니 베니디기 아니고 시샤베 다 쭈마 초베 메마 쭈미고 세 아니 제 책이 캔고라 karma zumi cho se menmarena zumi go se daru dandu yobachin sudabadi kimi sani betlenna dandala phangachi labodale zonka yerge tango bachin kadibe tango se tigob dula yerge tango sera labdemme yerge tango selamidi ki zonka khachi khura ke demme zonka khachi semini gacha garagi shebe yerge tango semini garagi shebe kadibe tani seingata 다날로의 책이 가실로 두 차례 여바친 꽤나 세션이비 아니 뉴스페이퍼기 바날로 종카기 페이퍼 페이지 쭈쭈바기디 종카 이야기 마주에 세면이 가라기 시베 발라 산비닝 같이 다리 참이 자고미디 디 참이 땅고미디 디 쭈미고세 잡라 베고미디 디 디베오다 종카 카 마치와 멘 세션이비 라스
Last, thank you. So it's Karma S. Wangdala BBS who has question for health Lembola.
My question is regarding the national policy for senior citizens, which the Gross National Happiness Commission, before it was officially dissolved, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Royal Society for Senior Citizens, started working on last May. So if the health minister could give us an update on this.
Lasla, thank you, La. Thank you for that question. I think this is a question that I think all our cabinet members are very passionate about, La. I think when we took office, there were 3 national level policies that we really wanted to work on. Because we believe that having these policies in place will really take care of the vulnerable population in our country. More importantly, it will also add towards what Bhutan believes in terms of being a very compassionate nation. So those were the 3 policies were basically the disability policy, the national policy for person living with disability that was approved in 2019. And then the second policy was accelerating mother and child health law, because we are of the belief that investing in our mother and child is the biggest investment a nation can do. And it's a prerequisite for any nation to progress law. And then the third one, of course, that is in a work in progress right now, is our policy on senior citizen law. So the senior citizen policy, as you rightly mentioned, completed all its protocol. GNHC did quite an extensive consultation, went beyond the traditional sectors. We also reached out to senior citizen organization, especially the Royal Society for Senior Citizen. We had series of consultation with them. Again, we also reached out to Nyama Ngacharagi, Pyongkhadrib Dusu, retired officials from the civil servant, ex-ministers, and then we also reached out to technical people who have retired. So we really wanted to get a national perspective with regard to this policy law. The policy is in its final draft right now, waiting to be presented to the cabinet ministers. And then I think we would like to launch it as soon as possible, say Yula. So some consultation right now are happening. We also am mindful that we also wanted to get some international perspective on it and see what the best practices were globally. So we have also taken bilateral consultation with a few of the experts on drafting these policies. So it's almost on the final leg. I think GNHC not being there, I don't think so it will make any difference, as the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned, because the mandate of the GNHC is still there, although placed with different organization at the moment. So I think the policy formulation will continue. We will have a public consultation as well. I think GNHC's, the focal team is planning to do a public consultation at some point as well. So it's almost on the final approval na yu session. So once all this is done, then we'll be submitting to the cabinet. We'll do a presentation to the cabinet, and then it will be formally submitted to the cabinet for approval session. And it will go through GNHC policy formulation screening tool. It will go through that same screening tool session. Last, thank you. Kadichela, Karma.
Last, thank you, La Limpula. We have Pema Chuki, the Bhutanese, for she has a question for Labor Limpo Karmala.
Hello, Your Excellency. My question is regarding youth employment and economic workforce law. So what is the current status of youth employment in the country law? And then with number of young people, especially young graduates leaving the country, and now the economy is considered to be in the recovery mode. How is the status of the economic workforce in the country, and are there any plans to mitigate economic leaving of young workforce to for recovery law?
Thank you, Pema, for the question. In regard to youth unemployment rate, the overall end 2021, as per NSP official record, it is 20.9%. So youth is considered from 15 to 24 years as per NSP criteria. And if you see the number, it is 6,492. So we are doing a lot of intervention to actually give some skills. The major program that we have done is skill development plan, which as per the command from His Majesty end October 2021. So we have been giving skillings to about 8,995 youths. The target is 8,995 youths in 108 sectors. The sectors that is being identified as required in the economy to make youth's employment opportunity better. And some of the other interventions that we are also doing is basic entrepreneurial courses, where skilled youths are able to run a business and earn their livelihood. And also during pandemic, because we had a big sector in the construction sector, whereby we were not able to get foreign workers, we had this Build Bhutan project, which also improved the status of employment for the youth. And we also have youth engagement and livelihood program, where financially the ministry supports 5,000 a year in different sectors to actually again provide employment opportunity to youth and make the status of employment better in the country. Now your second part of the question, which you are saying is young people leaving the country and the status of economic workforce is a concern. But if you look at the past trend also, the local workforce was always a concern, because in some sector of the economy, we never had enough people. For instance, construction sector. So we never had enough people, and then we always depended on foreign worker. So in that sense, the absorption capacity in some economic sector is not much. So when young people are leaving, as you have shared, you are saying is a big concern. But where we would like to say that in some sector, even earlier, when the youths or young people were not leaving the country, we still had issues. So the local workforce were not able to contribute in all economic sectors. So that way we had the option to bring in foreign workers. So in that sense, the economic workforce sectors will not be hampered, because young people are leaving, but we have an option to provide the foreign workers. So any economic activity that the Bhutanese are not there or not able to take, we provide this opportunity by allowing people to bring in cheap foreign workers. So in that sense, the economic workforce will not really hamper the economic activity. And also the other issue, and also other interventions that we are doing is on the skilling program, and from the DESUB skilling program also, which is a very big program. So all these are going to add up to the skills, and also ensure that some of the youths are able to earn their livelihood in a better manner, in a better way within the country, and also some sectors where we are focusing, for instance, high-end tourism. So those are some sectors which will encourage higher salary and pays within the country. So that will also ensure that people or the young people stay. But as you said, young people, mostly I would take it, say 40 years and below, those are living with experience. I think that is one big concern, because it takes time to get those professionals set up, to send them for studies. So meanwhile, there might be a time gap where we have to fill up. So this is a bit of a concern, but from our side, we have to plan properly, check what kind of professions are leaving, and then provide more studies and other opportunities. So these are some of the interventions that we are also looking into it and taking care. But after people go down, I think mostly they are leaving for studies. We are hopeful that when they come back after a few years, that vacuum would be filled up later with more skill, more exposure, and also they come and contribute to the economy with the earnings that they make outside. From the ministry side, people who are leaving from the ministry side are those for employment opportunities. We have this overseas employment program. So till date, about 9,876 Bhutanese has left for employment outside for overseas through overseas employment program. But they have always returned after 3 to 4 years, and they have contributed to the economy. They have brought in money. They have started a lot of business. They have opened a lot of diverse economy. So that way, I think this will be the trend. And I'm sure those people living for study in Australia will also have the same trend after they return after a few years. So that way, we are hopeful that all these issues will be sorted out, and we are putting in all interventions and other necessary measures in place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Itashi Youngdin, BBS.
Thank you so much, sir. My question is in regard to the access of information. So several agencies such as the OAG and the Anti-Corruption Commission has completely stopped talking to the media fraternity. So since this is very concerning, how would the PMO help in actually addressing this issue? This question is to Honorable Prime Minister. Thank you.
I don't know how to answer this, Tashi. Any access to information, Soda, unless you want access or rather information from one particular individual, then overall access to information in the country, I think what we are having now is also access to information. All the time, 24/7, all of us are willingly and happily taking any questions. Now, recently, ACC ki kongi public service management system nalu careful begobigi indication chitheno. But while that is not new, it has always been there. It only says those who are taking responsibility must be responsible. Now, if some agencies are totally not willing to talk to any of the media, if it is ACC or RAA or RCAC or whatever, I only have a request to everyone that that media is equally, if not more important. Whatever you say, if you mean it for the system must know. whatever we do, if it is for public benefit, public must know. For these important informations to go to public, media is the only way that we can write on. You can value add to the information, raw information that we are giving you. The media, I find it very, very useful. So my only message and request to all agencies in the country is, if one cares about what they are doing for the larger benefit of the country, if what they are doing is public service available, so public must know. Every household na palo mise rere shintu ki no khona ki ke subachin nga shunerami ti kema subachin. I'm talking through you to all the individuals and agencies in the country that the khona ki kema subachin. One thing that they must know for sure is sharing information with the media is also part of their responsibility. By sharing information to media fraternity or media houses or journalists, they are not doing the journalists and the paper houses any favor. They are doing what they are mandated to do. They are doing what they are paid to do. Sharing information with media is part of one's responsibility. Now, beyond that, I personally feel that I have actually no room to stretch my arms too far. I only can request. So, access to information, the overall is one of the best. Bhutan is one of the best in the world, because I'm the head of the government speaking. I have no censorship at all. You are allowed to call me anytime. And Kezang Kile and her team in the office also working day in, day out. I have repeatedly told you all that if you did not get access to particular information, we will do one of two things. One, we will make sure that that person or agency talks to you or takes your question, or we will get the answers for you. So, if there is anything else we can do, please let us know. It's my duty to do it. It's your duty to understand, analyze, and let the public know. To do your duty, you must have the information. So it's our duty to give you that information. So access to information, the touching answer to Tsering Pelden Lu Shudozumbe, 13 plan Lu Imagine. You need not write a story on 13 plan tomorrow, but 13 plan is being built now. Please come and join us. Assign one of your reporters dedicatedly for 13 plan. Read, analyze. To understand the specialities of 13 plan, one must know 12, 10, 9th, and the 8th plan. Khadibe built up Jodega Shivo. To understand and write a good story on the 13th plan, one must know the inherent problems that we have, economy of our country, the path that we all want to walk through. Ansu Shivo Bevala. Ani Shiva Chinchamchi 13th plan ki specialities to appreciate Benime. So Ani Bendige, Tengai Tachishudo Zumbe, the Ka Nam Chichera, two Nam Deuchi Chena, Simidrangani Shui, meeting Nam Chong Wedding Chelo through my media team Chelu Shunse. So Ani Bendige Totongale answered hit me, while I feel terribly disappointed that individuals and agencies are not willing to talk to media. That is not right. One must know that this is part of their responsibility. Ragamidi chamchi bebe, magamini mabio jani di menla. Garu magaru, rangu pobi gemkudi me bara bago se. No. Ngali jennam simi shuni mitela. Tanigu, is there anything that we can do? The danja che MOIC na be sundu chi na be che media houses lo atiti restriction che on those feeling che on. A few of the representatives came to me saying print media cannot go online. What you share online must be the content of your print now. Beyond that, you cannot share, say, Anzume Onu, Tanaloengagi, the Nacharagi agency, Dewa Humidis to explain Bela. The Nacharagi law, Nara Bemicho, say, you're watching the Tabrami until we change that law, the Bemochobera Dion say. And all laws are not casted on the stone. they can be changed. The law to mevachin, then these are the times where we must give them the benefit of doubt. Chingo osero. The media grow bego ose. Now the social media omegale, conventional media ki platforms ukara, they are taking the backstage, they are dying actually. So Anzum Benedigi, newer avenues omdalo. Nachiragi media experts ki explore bebe, anugo right bechugo, we should not be restrictive say Tengagi Kolo Tebeshu, Kongeru, Hako, Shegi Shebe, the Big Magiro, Torulog di Cello, circular at Tepenaila, that you all can do it say. Facebook na break news pinire chinda ase. A print media need not restrict to print only. And what you telecast on Facebook did not be the content of your print document. So taking a lot of confidence from our media friends. We are here to do what is required. And I'm not doing to please you all. I'm doing my mandated responsibility. I'm doing my duty. So with this, if you have any suggestions, please let me know. How should we improve access to information?
Last, let me say thank you. Namgi Demola BBS.
My question is to Honorable Linchin. Empty chairs in public offices have significantly hampered the service delivery. So are there any concrete tangible measures being taken to address this problem? For example, Shemgang Zongkak has no Zonda and no Zonra.
Plus, little unfortunate ime, and Zongkak, such vital position ila, and that too Zongkak that needs more attention. So ani with the tare Zonda mimidi cheragishi, he is back to ACC ila. Yet newer appointment announcement is already out. Selection process is going on now. So as we talk, Zongda selection is going on. So ani bindigi, while we apologize for the gap of having no leaders in Shemgang Zongkak, we will not be going on for long. We have a very convenient platform to dialogue. So Kachira Beniru Begomidisu at Sangitun Begobe, position Pillar Begomidisu Sangitun Begobe, because we know the potentials. Nachina Yumigi potential future leaders in Kara Naradu. We are not waiting for anyone to come from outside. The announced Beniru selection process Beniru Sangitun Begobe, Tengachinalu, Taman, 2.5 years, the pandemic digira Guraya Tumate ese. Reforms din Nami Simikache, Methab Mipchi, Gora Gobe. The reform be Kablun, very unfortunately, many of our senior executives could not be continuing in their offices. Anibe Asi, Anijoda, the agency Mahi, Jipchinalu leader, maybe you Sanga Tebara Shrila. Of course, you all know that most of it is now filled up. Agency Lalun dismantled the Asi, no agencies at all. You may just to fill up Marsh of Besaila. Now we have last 13 positions remaining. 13 positions remaining, you executives. Tanale 6 announced Besai, interviews are going on. 7th will be announced very soon or is already announced now. So Hanibi Unity, the vacancy fill up Sangitun Jones. Tanalungara Kara Chika Shebirangagi Shuila. Tare executives, leaders, Mebadu, then civil service nale, key position holders, P321 diso, Chanka Mashochi ro Koragi expectation meet Benigitelo, higher opportunities explore Benigitelo, ro Peshata or Chemme, Anivicham Nangachi system nalu, Tangachito the number count be is impact of not having these young performing officers not with us, Tingachi feel mabe toto. Public service delivery the hamper jodo se Kagila motochi feel mabe ese, Tanianga Kunkaralo Shuila. Analogy to use baby shui, if I may share. Aningachi Zuka diabetes pop zumbe is a diabetes, the Zuka phobic of su me is a you don't feel it. You don't feel that your blood sugar is 250 or 300 above that. You feel it only when you develop symptoms. Diabetes will give you symptoms only when the target organs are damaged, and that is permanent. A diabetic will feel that his vision is not as good as what it used to be. Diabetes give a vision that is permanent. One fine morning, lam jodalu, you hit your toes on a step or somewhere on a pebble, and you don't feel the pain that much. If you realize that you are diabetic, then your peripheral nerves are already damaged. It will never ever come back. Heart, brain, kidney, nerves, vessels are the target organs of diabetes E. And the target organ the damage being a permanent E is a system nalu diabetes yub zumbe su masuai su chinsu guma du senga tevara shui is a shunivila. Sucha bingale, symptoms tumigale, kesa wikitai, kesa makiolera remedy bagongo ose. I cannot think of governing a country with so many agencies having no leaders in a tevara shui is a shunivi. So ani benidigi, toto chera sumidi, that concern E, nachigi tari first time ko men. Concerns a kahara address bedo. Now from nearly 50 plus agencies without executives to down to only 7 ila. So so many chairs vacant, so the whole country the empty asubzum feeling chair on me. I know you didn't mean it, but it can be implied that way. So the Mashiba Lusobe Bachin Shaba Fido Gomati. Please correct us. In fact, what we are doing now is part of governance. We are governing the country through this dialogue email. Please let us know what we should undo. Please let us correct what we have done already. If it is not in line with your expectation, so Totogi Nagi question de Shemgangi di ime, while that is one very unfortunate exception. I will have no other explanations but to apologize. The Kimino, Kadi Jojobe, the Mapati interview is already going on. Yet, if you analyze properly, Nachi functioning status Zivachin, Shemganglu Zonda Meba, Shemgangi developmental activities, Shikiche Machak Deju Mila. Please go through our governance system. The health sector is catered by Minister of Health, so it's happening as usual, and the sector head is DHO. Education sector is happening because it's centrally controlled by Minister of Education, and the sector head is DEO. Similarly, agriculture is happening as usual because DAO is there. Centrally, Timpu Bewachin, the cabinet ime. Cabinet ki chair di ngaime and 10 lumpus imela. Ani Zumbe, replica of that in the Zongkak is equivalent to the cabinet chair, and the prime minister is the Zongda, who actually is the CEO type ila. Anale, health minister ki thamadi DHO do, education minister ki thamadi DO do, agriculture minister ki thamadi DAO yu, anibe sector heads kara yu shunbe, who are directly in link with the central ministry. So anibindigi functioning ludi namisimi bombe topopo mi se. Yet we know the roles of leadership, that is to push and motivate the staff under his or her care. So anichi dare lagging yasono tani bindigi as much as we feel bad about it, we are in the process of appointing the leaders as soon as possible.
Last, thank you, La. We have Monica Rai from the Bhutanese.
Hello, everyone. My name is Monica Rai, and my question is to His Excellency, Tempo Kamatoji, and it is in regard to Ministry of Industry and Commerce and Employment taking a lead role in providing skilling, reskilling, and upskilling program to the youth of our country. So I just wanted to know how effective is the skilling, reskilling, and upskilling in employment generation. And so here, how can the government follow up and ensure jobs and support? That's it.
Thank you, Monica, for the question. Skilling, reskilling, and upskilling is very important for our country to do development activities, because those are the people who actually work in the field with skills that they move the country forward. And this is exactly what is happening in developed countries. So we take very importance in skilling, upskilling, and reskilling. But how to make it effective, not just by giving skilling. So we have other components that actually make skilling, reskilling, and upskilling more effective. So I just want to highlight some of it. For instance, other components which are very vital to making this skilling program effective is to ensure there is a skill gap study being done. So what we have done is done a skill gap analysis in the country. What sort of skills is required for the economy to move forward, so that there will be opportunities for jobs and business in that sector. So we have done a very comprehensive skill gap analysis, and 108 skills has been identified that is required in the country so that the economy moves, there is job creation. So that was done very extensively. So that's why it is becoming effective. And then we also have to ensure that the competent trainers are there. So we have invested in master trainers from different countries, from developed countries, that were brought into the country to give skills and in a very efficient and effective manner. And then the quality of skills are good, so that it brings quality and then also helps in the development of the country. And in other sense, it makes our trainees competent in that sector. Then there are programs that we need to match whether it is required in the ground. And we also have other youth engagement and livelihood programs to ensure that the skills are being utilized, and then these trainees get some experience in the field, so that they earn more livelihood, they become experienced. So those, in combination of all these other initiatives, we try to ensure that the skilling is effective. Also, the government has provided a lot of budget in skilling sector. For instance, we have made the training tools relevant. For instance, earlier we used to train in old model cars and vehicles, whereas when an automobile mechanic or a trainees after skills, they go to the field, they have to deal with latest vehicles, EV vehicles, Prados and all. So similar tools has been now provided in all our institutes, so that the skilling is as good as live that would be done in the field in actual implementation. So in combination of all this, this is how we were able to make skilling efficient. And then we have invested a lot of budget, time, and also resources to make it efficient. So in the process, we also, when we give an skilling, to ensure that there's other opportunities, we also give them entrepreneur courses, so that not just that they work for an employer, but they can also start a business and earn their livelihood. And we also have diverse skilling programs, not just institute-based, but we also have village skill development program, so that people in the village are able to take opportunity in this. We have critical capacity development programs, so that people who are already working can also upgrade their knowledge, and then it becomes more efficient. So that way we have diverse program, so that to make it efficient, all these are put together. So that is how we are trying to make skilling, upskilling, and reskilling efficient and relevant, and also to provide better opportunities with business ideas that we float, and also provide some business seed money prizes, so that those with skills are able to start some business. So that way, I think this is how we are making skilling efficient. And also in the sense, we also have these tracer programs, whereby we have done a study of how the output, how our trainees that gain skills and go into the market. And then we have found out that 70% of them are either getting jobs or have started their own business. So that way, looking into all this data, I think we feel it is effective, it is efficient, and people do get benefit out of it, and also the economy. So those are some of the ways we make the skilling efficient, not just by providing skilling, but other means and components are added to make skilling efficient. And if there are any other ideas, we study, try to analyze, and further add to these components to make it efficient and effective. Thank you.
Lasla, thank you, Lalimpula. So actually we had 2 questions for Lempulokla, and then turns out that Lempulok was on the road, and then he's at a place where the network is really poor. So this leaves us with one last question for Mijil Lenchinla. It's from Kinzang Hatin BBS la.
Zambula garalula. Tele junibi lo serlo dashtele sishunela garalo. Dari ngai duwa de mapa ini de kolung chu project ki kolingla. De debere dari duwa so de sishunela. Duwa de bawachin da Australia ki kolera doro sachi issue gon me singla. Da Australia lu dar naba jomi jangkhai ya sing jodalu mashogira da sem khalu PR di thop course ma PR related courses like nursing da cookery and subaw me bala PR thop be benise dan ane bebe da lojugo do zum boachin malu chimnyo drup chimnyo dele nomkor dise namse bomnyo ane be debme se be bala business tu ma start be kon restaurant tu ane bebe dan anzum gi jankha ya sing jo PR thomi gi PR thomi lashe jodalu da ngachigi peljor lu gadebe pemba da ne bachi gadebe oni mega se duwade ani chinila yes karchela
Yeah, last kunza karichei. 아니 마바 대화는 무슨 레짐치메 마바 당아저 다치 순리 남인데 제가 대화 유비기 대화 받다 저라기 디탕기 개발을 원님에 소소베티데라 이 최기 벤랍메 아저 두비미 마스트레일리아 좀미디수 이 마라 듀니기 텔루 이 마기 듀니기 나와 톱니기 텔루 PR세 permanent residence 랍메 이 딜레베 이 마기 미쿵 레링이 종가에 미시 다니베 조 이 마루라 가리봄요 사뇨 침잡 총디수 잡베 debmese koi tebe dodigibe thomachin ngachi gekhabgi pejolu kadibe nyunga se kadibe pyonga se nachi kadibe nyunga se nachi tide so aniboda teradi namsim regime ms nombena eta katera juru ngai tachilabdo zumbi ngachi gekhable phi thenjoi gale gekhabdu mago jumi khaimi se rangi kisu bomsu koja jome rang pampincha koja jome dupchi sengale 같이도 저디 이마다스치 사 또치 도마치 사베 듀니치 가와라 같이라 가라비로 다니 파샤베 조다디 가미카에 밀라 또마 아스트레일리아 듀미 리딩이 센 주미 여바친 I can almost feel their pain yet 아니 같이 두비미 가테라 주로 주줍디 유세 아니 샵기 체기 고고마 님마 수이 발라 두비미치 세와친 반염라 테베 유세 같이 두비미치 세와친 노사 따탕라 마도이 세 다리같이 팬데믹이 갑루에 둡데 젠다 마도베 퉁고미디 야레 카나미기 레짐베나 차슈미기 미세기 레짐베 슈다니디기 둡데 레짐베 튼드미 차 레짐베 슈소델레 베세미디 베 자세미디 자tum니기 같이베 자tum모서와친 아니 레줌데 타탐스 티시니디기라 뚝마뚝시니디기 베뚝마뚝 베초마초 시니디기 베도바 자 아니 비니디기 다 둡 가라기 남세미 레짐베 사수생아 슈니미 레링이기디 칠리블레 탑베 배우나 마쇼기 대랑이베라 사수치디 저라 종세 노메 디나미스미 레지메메나 두비기 미기 총잡 대로 아티지 딩디베 조디미 게캅 아스트레일리아 잠치메 젠카에 유라 단숨조다 디수디가 종올레 데타시델레 유세 슈니비 다 두파니베 조다로 마치 마지 짜베베 따부나부 마라 뉘니베 조아친 게 가디베 종가 세메 게캅디네 땅노 가디베 종가 세 다나디 가라기 한방이베 둘라 치디 게캅기 네땅기 틀루 치메 디 가데베 종가디 나체기 나루 가데베 베수가루 라레옹라 나체기 가네 마베와 타타 자다바친 나치 게캅루 큐 bombe 퐁 오세슈니비 Kachimse wachin ngachira dubimise kara jamling na lu kadae midala pamchigi pincha zume myongadari moche khorigi se sem zume danzi birugi mise namachu chamachuba minche rimro kara rime tombobe bebiugi gyakab miila chuyente lobdana lu rime tombobe pimchimigi mise daru ani gibe chudubi joshile lokma jo labebe debekablu lejimi mela 다 ngachinalu jurwa transformation di sangitun bagongshina yan lokhora na onigi kokap mi chime ba chudu bi chime ba tawdara la khonra gi be sakha chu chongchap gari bombe nyobe dusumi gi midi chudu bi chime ba la ani chudu bi midi gi no sa tanthang digira kogi kokap di ma tabega na tabega tashimichi ani tashimichi donga nalu kokap lejimi yasimare sengachi gi sangitun jogobila ani zoda bachin 기수 범수 사고나라 가세 슈니비 록디라 튀오세 아니 베고 아니 베마수바친 귀 bombe포 아니 베다바친 캡소 bombe 톱라 도도마기 냠뇽 쭈둡 따자 통자디수 가라 박디기베 마치 개캅 노오베 라비니메 아니 빈디기티 레짐 종가 섭 종가디 나치라 나기 차체다 시지 람루디술 라레오세 다리 주루아 베고미디 가데 조조베 베고미디 데베이 이세 슈니비라 데 마쇼기 pandemic gidigibe tarif chika jomi masu jodo zumbe labme ngachinagi shijurgibe lecture jomi zumbe labme debetsali men seshunibi di rajini mela stage me di jodra jodio ngachiregi u da gyakhamnale tarif chika jomi zumbe attrition rate himalaya thindiyo bala ukhala phalu chim tom thunbe 공동기 issue chegi dajina lokchi lamniyola sa phaji pa jadigibe Palolengi loju lokchi lamni anidi ukale thomka omme ta gekhamnam na taja thonja ma access to information jam to yube benidigi ta timbule phika jome ani trendy hemanera yuse shunibi ukale thomka onigi trendira ila kokap chudi ombe do ba ta ngachi nalu sangten digibe ngachi gi schedule lecture disu bedigibe the environment legim zoda bachin ta ani tab madika ka dosisi gyakap kyugeni zumdi ngachigi khepsotin su opse we can turn it into positivity for us shunibila te chidi anime te khora ma dumi disu gira na satamachin te ruttabunabu to ngachi ti shipsel bebudimi ane be ngaragi te pochiji pa betawachin logji joni se ngaya jogo se no dumi disu bewachin te tinalu tuse cholo talo meula Kade jojuve nimrerena la nini sumso la kabolo matawa la nima tuba chibe nima chibe magi teta lamlugibe beshobasin toruchurue chibedi te sai tolepchi ngeni lepchi la namseme video kachimsewachin te kongi ganda rerenalo dola sumchu dere topchewachin da ngagi yalo dubitiru bewachin da bumanichi sashi ise da yupche halamchi nga sachinyoni tru lansi ise da nga chimjamnigi tru lansi ise nga lulobda lejimchina tanigi tru lansi ise namisimi phamdisugi ma lahatandi bedawala ani beikablu bemidisu te lok loni ise lonina loni losumina loni ise misuila tanisu ngachi nada ma phebachin the people who are planning working hard to save some money and come back yumidisu they are rich Bhutanese la dup chup gitasu chu ise shunibi denti kora nosamchi jube ma duni begale ma duni be thachi sai gale gandare labudalu $2 kechi gugu sumchu thamba thomigi tolobdi magi tolobgi transule chunsho chinila income level ma Australia the Australians to chiga phebachin chunsho chugu pinyo malu rutu sa tunigi mila ru basa banigi mila ru sami samitsup ru kyumi supla ani be joy gale tengachira la chuachi bebe ma debi gale tab madiu bomsho di kachi ebsawachin tari la jada bachin nabasani bibianyo tab madika ka vijola so from a rich Bhutanese when they are planning to come back they become a poor Australian so ani su ruma ngachigi an shibachindi ma demisugu lejimbera ken seshuni beila so da ngagi churgi towadillen dordibe shwachin the khong chachab ma anibe lok moma ma dedabachin ngachi gekhablu pheunga niunga di ngachi geakap gi siju gi be yanyola ngachi geakap gi siju di khon lo go ni gi tenlo lejimbe zo ngachi na lo shiju leju sangden be reform disu sangden be da bachin ma sho lokthyu ani ontu bachin toto khoma peshata midi ngachi geakap gi masa jitsu be do zumbe investment be do zumbe jo se shuni beila sanichi da chege debe ungare samchai debe imese no wachin danusue da ati shipselche lejime begobe ngachi dubidi najun disuma geakap gullu ke digi the sannam dasagi thamalama labebe dube kablu kademchi kauchi doga ngachirigi shigola because they are our fellow citizens ime laluchi pham na menkhana pham na menkhana ke alu male na omachu ngachilu jutini himme ni usulu jutini himme charochi benase lalu chuti yukechi ngesochi shu dintangi sumchi na jugu nale 창의준 로마 좀이 유라 so ani sugi 차게 동게디 땡가치고 마포춘제 가치게 마십 좀베 아스트레일리아에 있어진 야사 야입지 할람 대딜 할루 휴섭 좀기 촌왕 오메바 대베 메메나 남이 있으면 라하두세 땡아라디 대베 이 생각이 레짐베시 다니 빈디게 또도 추기 저와디 레짐 좋은가 레짐 미조가디 나치나기 시줄을 라레오 아니 빈디기 두비미 마소 치카 조링이 명아들이 모쳐내라 구중 중남이스티비 투사게 제베 투사게 제브링이랑 같이 나기 리폼 트랜스포메이션 디 가데 조조베 온고비라 메탑 밉지 가데 조조베 온고비 있으시니비 라스 가리체라
Last Miji Karichela, in the beginning we said we will take some questions from online if possible and if we have time, but looks like more or less my colleagues here, we have been following the comments and one way or the other we managed to cover. But even otherwise, the time schedule that we booked for this session, we have already exceeded that. So in the coming weeks and months, we will create more platforms to interact with the public. But Dariti and Kokapimitsvesela. So I want to thank Miji Lynch and Limpos for your time and all the media colleagues. Thank you so much. This is the end of our session.
Yeah, Lasso Kariche.
Thank you, everyone.